Morning, this is August 10th, 2024. And I just now got on because I had computer issues. So I apologize to those who waited. And so I'm trying to get everybody in now. Good morning, everybody. I just got in. I had my computers, I had internet issues. So thank you for waiting. I know you had to wait a few minutes. Hello, who is
Hi,
here? I see
hi,
Marilu.
Malu Velasquez.
Yeah, I see what's it, Nagalum?
Yeah, Nagalom. That's my colleague.
Oh, your colleague. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, hey.
Hi,
Nice
Mom.
feeling there. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good evening here.
Mm, good morning here. I've been stressed out because I tried to get on and my computer had problems. So anyway, I had to call somebody to make sure it's fixed. But anyhow, we have problems sometimes, but very, very rare, but sometimes we do. So Mike just called me and asked and I said that I think he's driving. So I don't know where he's going. Anyway, how are you? Tell me about
Good.
you while waiting on others. Mhm. You're from Cebu?
Yes, Mom.
Yeah, you have attended before, right? Or is this the first time?
This is the first time.
Okay, but I thought for some reason I thought you looked familiar. Who told you about us?
It's Ninette Shangi.
Oh, Shangi. Yeah, okay. So you Shangi is a cousin, or are
Uh,
you friends with her? Or are you friends
she
with
is my
Shangi?
sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Okay, well, tell me about okay, this is what we do. We usually introduce ourselves. So I'm going to try to introduce myself first. Usually you do your professional information and so mine would be I'm Dr. Merlina McCullough. I am actually an adjunct professor at Arkansas State University. This is where I got my degrees. Um, my degree is a Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. And so I have been a teacher and administrator here in the US. So I got all my 4 degrees here. And I retired in 2016. So I did work for the Department of Education in Little Rock. And but before that, I was a principal, curriculum director, teacher. Somebody's talking. Who is that? Okay, so Marilu, are you in twice? I think I see your name twice. I don't know if you were in two different devices.
Yeah. So I have to kill the other one, my
Yeah,
laptop.
you actually you're in three different devices. You're in yeah. I don't know what
Because my
happened there.
laptop
Yes.
has no speaker. So it's
Uh,
better I use my mobile phone.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes yeah.
Okay.
Um, I don't know where everybody is. Usually we have a lot of people in already, but maybe they give up on me. I don't know. Let me text Mike. Mike usually helps me. Let me see if Mike can tell everyone that I'm in the Zoom now. All right, so that's only us. Yeah, usually the least we've had is 40 something, and then we had as many as 100. So I don't know this
Wow.
morning. Yeah, but this morning we don't have very many people. I wonder if they were here early and then gave up on me. Um, two, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I actually did not do this. For the first time, I had to skip it because I just was not feeling well at all. So that was not a good
Mm-hmm.
time, but I'm so glad that you joined us. Okay. Anyway, so you get your name, your education experience. I have more than 30 years of experience for me. And then what role did you play? Like what have you taught, subject and content areas in grade levels? And then why do you want to come to the US to teach? And usually when you do have an interview, they'll ask you at the end, like, do you have a question for me? So if you have a question for me, let me know. Okay. All right, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. I will start with you. It's recorded.
Okay.
I'm gonna send this recording to everybody. So you can start if you want. I'm gonna admit people as they come in. I think Mike is now in. So go ahead. Mike,
Yes.
yeah.
Good morning, Dr. Merlina. I am Marilu Calles Velasquez, currently residing in Subang Daku, Mandawi City, Cebu. I have two accomplished daughters. The oldest works at BPO industry, and the youngest works at Camotes Community Hospital as a medical doctor. I hold a Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, majoring in accounting from Mindanao State University. After passing the Teacher's Licensure Board examination and completing all the required units for a certificate of professional education at Cebu Normal University, I became a full-fledged elementary school teacher. I started my teaching career as a kindergarten teacher at Royal Oaks International School here in Mandawi City, where I taught for 4 years. Seeking greater opportunities and job stability, I decided to transition into public school teaching. I am now employed at Subang Dako Elementary School, where I have been serving as a classroom advisor for grade 4 for 20 years, exactly this month. I teach science, grade 4, Araling Panlipunan, grade 4, and ESP, which stands for Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao, which is in relation for Good Manners and Right Conduct, or GMRC. I'm truly passionate about education, and I'm committed to helping my students or pupils grow academically and personally. I'm excited to be here and look forward to our discussion. I was encouraged by my sister-in-law to join this meeting. Perhaps I will be asking you some questions all about that teaching in US, mom.
Okay.
So yes, maybe I'll try.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your introduction. You don't look like you should have a kid that's a doctor. You look young.
I'm already 5 years old.
Wow.
This one.
Congratulations for, having raised sounds like very successful kids. So anyway,
Thank
yeah,
you.
what kind of questions do you have for me? What kind of questions
Uh,
were you thinking?
uh, uh, the requirements of applying as a teacher there.
Okay. Well, depending on how you're gonna be hired, if you're lucky enough to get hired by school as a J1 or an H1B visa holder, for J1 visa, which is like a teacher exchange, that's good for 5 years. They will have I guess the requirements, of course, you have to have your passport, that's a given. And then you'll have to have your diploma and a proof that you are a teacher there. So your licensure, um, your paperwork. And then of course, your resume, cover letter, and at least 3 letters of recommendations. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have a list of them. If you don't mind to email me, mcculloughmerlina@gmail.com, and I will send you the whole list. Okay? I think there's a
Yeah.
little difference. I don't know, Mike, I made Mike host here. Mike, can you tell me the difference, like a paperwork difference between H1B and J1? I did help Mike Mike Roca here. I did help him get his H-1B visa along with three other teachers. And then we have maybe more than 100 teachers now that we have brought over here. And I think more than half of them are in Arkansas. So,
Mm,
but Mike is one of the leaders over there around Helena. Now he's in Brinkley, Arkansas, which is close to Mississippi. Oh, by the way,
mm.
Marilu, I'm
Yes,
from
ma'am.
I'm from Mandaue. I really actually from Tepolo by San Miguel, and
Yeah,
we used to go to church in Subang. You
sa
know that.
Pangdako, yeah.
Yeah, Warle. What was the name of it? Anyway, that church there, the nice church there in Subang Dako. Yun. So I'm really from Mandaue, and but then we moved to Lapu-Lapu later. We bought a house in Lapu-Lapu. So that's where my
Mm.
family is now. But originally, my mom is from Karkar. So my mom is
Car-
from Karkar, but I was raised in Cebu City because we moved to the city when I was four. When I was
Ah,
4 years
okay.
old, yeah,
So
and
what's your family name before?
it was Tamara, Tamarra.
Tamara.
Uh-huh. So some folks would say Tamara, but it's Tamara. And you know what?
Tamara.
It sounds like tomorrow. And so when we
Oh,
were
yeah.
younger, that Annie said, "I love you tomorrow." They will say Tamara. They. I just thought that's funny, but anyway, yeah, that's what it is. We are from Mandaue. I mean, originally from Mandaue. Tipolo and
Yeah.
Magikay were the two places that we've lived in and until we moved to Lapu-Lapu. And Lapu-Lapu, we are St. Francis Village, which is about 10 minutes from the airport. So by Cordova, actually. So yeah, so you're very close to home for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Ninette or Shani have told me about you.
Yeah. So
Mm.
after I retired in 2016, I decided, I wanted to help teachers come because because it's a bit that the pay is about 10 times. So if
Yeah.
you're making $5,000 there a year, this is 50,000 in Arkansas. And
Mm-mm.
in other states even higher. But Arkansas has actually improved their teacher pay. We used to be number 49 or something. We used to say, thank goodness to Mississippi because otherwise we would have been 50, but number 50 states. But now we have beaten a lot of our surrounding areas. We have beaten Missouri and I don't know what other surrounding places, but I know that Texas is a little higher than us. But of course, Texas is huge. That's the biggest state other than Hawaii. So anyway, so it's of course they should pay more. But ours in Arkansas had a we have a harder licensure requirement because you have to pass TOEFL, which is a teacher of English as a foreign language, TOEFL. It's
Mm-mm.
equivalent to like NCLEX in nursing. But TOEFL
Mm.
is under ets.org. And so if you go to ets.org and you type on search under TOEFL, you could go ahead and take that if you are really serious about going to come to the US. And then the other one that's a must is go to spantran.com and get your FCE, which is your foreign credential evaluation. And this is when you
Mhm.
pay about 10,000, about $200 in order to get your transcript evaluated and get the equivalence in the US
Mm.
credits. So so that's something that you have to have. Everything you ever do to go abroad, you have to have that FCE done. And it
Mm-mm.
tells there what is the equivalence of your degree. So you have your master's degree, Marilu?
I have only finished comprehensive exam. Compre.
Okay. But they have most of the visa sponsors, they would want at least a match master's and a bachelor and master's degree. So
Okay.
if you yeah, they'll want that certificate because there's very few visa sponsors that would actually okay ones with bachelors. We have people that had was able to get in here and had their bachelors, but they have to have finished that bachelor's degree, I mean that master's degree like within a
Mm-mm.
year. So they
Mm-mm.
like they have started or something. But especially if you're in special ed area, special ed is really a need here in the US. We have shortage of teachers, but special ed is a really big need. So some of them have already started on their master's degree in special ed, but they have not finished. But they know they'll finish that year. And that's when they really get serious because some schools would go ahead and hire them, and some visa sponsors will go ahead and hire and let them be approved because if they are, they are about to finish. So some of our teachers, like my very first one here is Maria, and Maria is in Brinkley. She's one of our youngest teachers here. She was only 22 when she came. And so she was actually doing her master's degree and graduated at the UP, and she went back and got her diploma personally. So when she finished, but yeah, it's if you get lucky, you will get in without a master's degree. But I really recommend you having one. Yeah, but if you already have one with only comprehensive exam needed, I wonder what your FCE would say, your foreign credential evaluation, because according to the definition of master's degree here, from the immigration, they said if you have a bachelor's degree with 5 years of experience, and that's equivalent to a master's degree. So, how many
Mm.
years of experience do you have, Marilu?
Uh, 20 years in public, 4 years in private.
Okay, so maybe that would be equivalent to it. But anyway, but some of the visa sponsors are really strict about it, although that's the definition of immigration, but they really want to see that a master's degree. So
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend folks that are serious about wanting to come to go ahead and start your master's degree. And I would recommend, if you don't know the area, I would recommend special ed. That seems to be the easiest to come. Elementary seems to
Okay.
be the hardest I mean, harder than high school because there's so many elementary teacher graduates in the US. There's much more than high school. And there's a shortage of teachers, especially in special ed, in math, in science, high school. And those are some of the, three areas that are really hard to get by, to come by, to find people. But it's easier to find elementary folks, because
Okay.
yeah. But so if you are elementary, I would recommend you do special ed because that would be the best path, I think, to get here. But and
Mm-hmm.
I think the other deal is that if you're fluent, like when you did your introduction, I was listening to it and it's like you are very fluent, but you may want to like look at the camera more instead of like reading because
Yeah.
yeah, you want to be natural. You want whenever you have your interview, you need to be looking at me, just like visiting with me like now. You need to just talk about you as if you just met me in an elevator and you try to kind of sell yourself, like give me a job. This is what I am. And so that's what you need to do because you're very fluent already, and that's going to help you. But if they are looking at notes, they're going to think that, oh, I wonder if this teacher, will know how to think on her feet in English, because if you have
Okay.
notes that you are kind of more of a crutch, they're going to want to know if that's something that you could do, you know, without issue.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I would suggest. Did Shangi forward to you that document that I sent her because
Yeah.
it had all kinds of links there, and it had the link for the 50 states. Um,
Yes.
that's something that you may want to check it out. It had all the 50 states, and it has at least the top 10 better schools or bigger size schools in that state. So or what I do with my list, if you send me your resume and cover letter, I include you in my list, and then I send this list to the administrators, in Arkansas and also in the surrounding states. For example,
Yeah.
Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Texas, Missouri. I did like Springfield, Missouri is really big, and so they had hired some in Arkansas. There's like Little Rock, which is the capital, and they always hire a lot too, a lot of people. So those in my list, if you click on those, that will go directly to the places where you would directly apply. Another way
Mhm.
is to go www.schoolspring.com, and that is where you filter it. And then they have a new job, any job openings, they would actually post it in School Spring because it's available in all the 50 states as well. So you could look at it, and then there's always a path there to where you would apply. So that's something that you might want to try because you know that document also has a lot of um links to like PowerPoint with interview, and there's an interview PowerPoint with information about possible questions. Like possible questions could be like, how do you deal with an angry parent? So if somebody
Mm-hmm.
is mad and they come to your school angry about something that the child had said to them or whatever, how do you handle that, for example, Marilu? How would you answer that if the administrator would ask you, how do you handle angry parents? How do you do that?
Oh, come on.
Have you had any
Uh,
experience?
no, here, no.
That's one thing you could say is that I've not
Yeah.
had any experience, but I would imagine this is how this needs to be handled. So you need to, so just answer what you think it could be. So what would you say? Because they will be asking questions that you may not have experience. But so think about what you see in movies. Think about what you may have seen on TV, things like that. What could you do if somebody is mad about something that they think the child told them that, this is what the teacher said, or this is what the teacher did, or another student did, and the parents mad and angry. And that's more common here in the US, by the way. I call that mama bears and papa bears. There's a lot of mama bears and papa bears that would like to come and try to, get mad at the teacher because of what their student, said. So how would you do that? Or how would you handle it?
I cannot figure out yet.
No, okay. So you did not click on those links then. If you click on those links, I have links there with questions and answers.
Yeah.
There's also a
Yes.
link. Yeah, there's also a link to Josephine video. And Josephine
Yeah.
is one of our candidates, and she had really done a good job of answering. So, I
Mhm.
asked questions, she answered, and then I add to it. And that's something I've actually done too. When you have an interview, so you apply at these different places, and if you have an interview, you could email me and say, "Hey, can we please do a mock interview?" So like a practice
Okay.
interview with me. And so that's what Josephine and I did. And so did anybody here how do you handle if somebody is mad coming into school? Anybody want to answer that? I know Mike is here, but I think Mike is driving somewhere. So Giselle, I know you have answered this before, Giselle. How can you answer this for Marilu
Doc.
to get some help? Hi, Giselle. Giselle has been attending
Hi,
this.
Doc.
I don't know
Good
how.
evening, everyone.
Hi, Giselle. How many years have you been a member of our team of ITSA?
It'll be 2 years this September, Doc.
Mm-hmm. And so you have had experience of interviews, and I think Giselle was actually hired by West Memphis, and this is a sad story. That's they had given offers to about 13 Filipino teachers, and then they had to rescind the offers because of death of the superintendent. And by the way, this is now they still haven't hired a superintendent, Giselle. And I talked to Kendrick the other day, and they finally got the LCA. They just received the LCA.
What?
Yes, they got it
Wow.
approved. And so I told
Hello.
them,
Wow.
yeah.
Ah.
So we applied this LCA. This is a labor condition agreement from the Labor Department. We applied in February. It's supposed to be a 2-week thing, right? And this is now August. And so he
Yes,
just received it. So
yes,
it took
Doc.
6 months for us. So that's our bad luck, because if that was approved earlier, you would have been here already, right? So that's just one of those things that, I guess God had other plans for you. But anyway, Giselle, can you please answer the question about how do you handle angry parents?
Um, Good evening, Doc. Good evening, ma'am. I had
Name.
I had answered that question with, I think that was with Hope, Doc. JW. That's the Clinton Primary.
Mm-hmm.
I have answered that question, and I guess I have experienced that with a parent, no, an aunt, with my grade 6. So I just told them, what I did is, I said I had this experience with an aunt who had come to my classroom saying his nephew was, I think, bullied by one of his classmates.
Mhm.
And what I did is I called the aunt. I talked to her privately, and I asked her the question. So what happened? What did your son do? And I'm listening and I'm writing down the things that she said. And after the ones that uh, after she talked about it, I validated it. I told her, okay, this is what you said. Okay, this is what you said, and this is what happened. And she said yes. And I told her, I'm going to look at this problem. I'm going to talk to the child, and if it is okay with you, I'll be the one to talk to the child, and we will do something about it. And after that, she's come already, and yes, she said yes. She let me handle the problem with the kid. I think that's what I have answered about that, doc.
Okay.
But
Did you
that's
answer
also
it
what
with
you
how
said.
it was solved, though? Did you answer it with how it was solved? So if you have a story like that, you need to make sure that ends with like was it resolved?
Yes, doc. It was of like I have talked to the kid, and the kid asked here in the Philippines, already the kid asked sorry to her classmate, and it was a girl, so she asked sorry, and everything went okay, doc, with the parents.
Okay. And so you did go back then and follow up and kind of told the aunt this is what happened. So make sure you follow up and follow through, right? Because you have to go back and say you
Yes,
this is
doc.
what yeah, that this is what you promised and this is what you did, right? And I think you'd handle that well, Giselle. And here in America, what they do is usually they would have to have an appointment um with the teacher. They would have sometime that they come to school, and a lot of time the secretary or the principal would not let them through to the classroom. They cannot just go to the classroom because they will be asked to wait in the conference room or something, and they're gonna be told that the teacher will have a planning period, or the kids would go to special classes at a certain time. But anyhow, but confronting one, especially if they are that mad, usually the principal would actually, be there for you. A lot of the really good principals would be there to make sure that you'll be okay. But the protocol is if they're mad at the teacher, that they need to start talking with the teacher. They don't go straight to the principal. That needs to be addressed with the teacher. So as a teacher, you did well by having to listen to their complaint and write things down. If they are very mad, you need to be calm. You don't want fire with fire, right? You want water. So you need to be respectful. You sit together and kind of really really make them feel like we are partners in education. I'm with you. I know exactly, we're on the same page. And, like you, I really care about, the success of your child and every child in my classroom. So let's have a root analysis of this. Let's find out what the cause is. And you do not make a decision like that. That's what you did. Let me investigate for you, especially if it's a case of bullying. Bullying here, the definition is in order for you to consider being bullied, it has to be between a more powerful person and a more like a bigger kid and a smaller kid, and it has to be repeated, and there had to be an intent to hurt. So if something happened one time, that's really cannot be considered bullying because that's a one-time incident. And if something bad happened, you still need to address it. But sometimes, a lot of time, it's not really considered bullying as yeah, as bullying would be, I guess the term bullying would be the real meaning of it. But you don't ever want somebody to be mean to somebody else. You don't want that because in your classroom, you can add things like, well, because in my classroom, I want my students to respect each other. And I build this learning community where I respect the students and earn the respect. And then, and of course, between the students, I also want them to respect each other because my classroom is like a family. They need to, like any family, they need to respect each other. So that's kind of more the gist of your answer, which you actually did answer, Giselle. Just make sure that you explain things, and you show that you did follow up. After I did my investigation, I had, this is how it happened to the kid, and I talked back to the parent or the aunt, and tell the aunt that, do you feel like it's resolved? What else can we do together? Because you are partners after all. So at the end of your answer, you would need to show that you are a caring teacher, that you care about the success of the student, and that you could say, like, I will continue to observe and be vigilant that you know things like that would not be happening again. Of course, you make sure that you do not tell the parent what happened to that other child because of the privacy issues, so you need to say, well, um, they say, well, what did you do to the other child? And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is something that, you also deal with the other set of parents, but you do not have to tell the other parents or the other child what you did, to the other child. But that's not something you should ever, reveal because of their privacy issues. Okay, but it said we follow the rules here. We follow our handbook, student handbook, and so when something happens, then we follow the steps. For example, in first offense may be a verbal warning, and second offense might be you know a parent contact. Third might be um trip to the counselor's office, and then maybe the fourth offense would be talking to the principal. And so anyway, but every school or every district here in the US have their own student handbook. They have their own policy. So that's why it's important when you are being scheduled to be interviewed, you need to look at the websites of the school, and you look for those, like handbooks and the policies that they have in their school. That way, when you answer this, you can include things like, according to your handbook, according to your student handbook, that's listed in your website, this is how it's going to be handled. And so this is what you could say. That, I mean, it's going to be impressive when you show that you did do your research, that you do know how it's handled in their school. So I think that's one of the things that I always tell you, that you need to know their vision and their mission, find out about the community, and then look at their website, look at everything that they have listed there, especially the teacher handbook and the student handbook, because that really tells you a lot about their different policies that they have. Okay. So yeah, that's a tricky question. And some of the other question would be, so Marilu, did you get that, Marilu?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, doc.
So what did you get from that? What gist did you get from that? How would you handle it?
So I need to, in order to patch up what have been done between the two children, I have to talk privately to the parent that is, for example, in bullying, that is bullied. Okay, so I will be talking to them in a private manner. Then, if everything is patched up, then I will just say, okay, because as a teacher here in this room, I have to see to it that my children are being cared for. So there is something that I would be inculcate about the behavior of all the pupils inside my classroom, so that everything will be all right. So if that happens, uh, maybe I can assure the parents that uh, the what was happening will not be repeated anymore.
Okay, that's a good one. That you are making them feel better about it. That you are you have it under control. Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also need to say that you don't just believe that this happened. You have, I mean, in mind, when I was principal, I always have at least three different witnesses. I always investigated it. and thoroughly. I need to have at least 2 to 3 different witnesses. Did this really happen? Because you don't want somebody to just make up stories. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
kids are more creative than others about wanting to get out of trouble, and then they would make up something. And that happens.
Yeah.
I know some parents would say, my child would never lie. Yeah, right. Everybody lies. But you don't ever say that in front of their face, of course. But you always make them know that you do care about, what happened, and you do want to investigate it, and you want to resolve it. And that's what you just said, which is a good thing. Okay. So yeah, so find the root cause, find the evidence or whatever, and then make your decision, not hurried, but make sure you follow up and tell them this is what happened. This is what I found out. So yeah, and telling them that, I don't want anything like that. If that really was proven that it happened, I don't ever want it to happen again, because, I prevention, prevention is important. So in order for a classroom not to have those kind of bullying anyway, that if the kids are respectful of each other, it's not really going to happen. Although sometimes it could happen with other kids from other classrooms. It could have happened in the playground. So when that happens, then that's when your investigation goes. It could involve another teacher, you meeting with another teacher about it. But when you talk to the parent again or an aunt again, then you need to you have to name names. You just said, well, I made an investigation. I found out there were two witnesses, and I found out that this is what happened and all that. And because of this we resolved this, and consequences happen to the guilty students. But um, because of privacy issues, of course, I cannot reveal to you what I did with the other, student. That is something that is done privately. But for your student's sake, this is what will happen. This will not ever, your child will never be victimized like this again, because I want to prevent this from happening again. So you kind of make them feel better that you did investigate, that you did come up with a solution, and that you also make them feel better that their child is safe at school, because ultimately that's what it is they want their child to feel safe at school. You want them to feel like, I come to school and I'm going to be okay. That I will not be abused physically, emotionally, all that. And I always tell teachers that you have to remember that the parents sent you the best of their child. I mean, they did not they did not that's their best, that's their best child they sent you. And so you're going to have to remember that that's the precious child. And that to some parents, to most parents, some people of course are not as good, but you have to remember that's the best. They sent you their best. So that's their precious kid, that you are the second parent in the classroom. So yeah. So I think we beat the dead horse, but yeah, but that's something that's a very, very common question. Another common question would be like unmotivated students. Instead of calling them lazy, you say unmotivated kids that do not want to do the work. They want to just not do the work. So what would you do? What would you do? Let me see if I could Nagalam. Hi, thank you again. So Marilu, I'm gonna ask another person this question, okay?
Yeah.
So Marilu, thank you so much for continuing to watch. What I usually do is I record this, and then I will send it to those folks that are on my list. That means that you have to have sent me your resume and cover letter, so you'll be in my distribution list. And then I would post this on my YouTube channel and also to the Facebook. So have you visited my YouTube channel yet? Because I have all my Zoom there, or any Zoom that I've had done, and this is now number 80, I think, will be there in YouTube. ITSA, it's ITSA, International Teacher Support in America. ITSA, then you can search under my name, Merlina, and you can see my Facebook channel. Yeah, I hope that you do subscribe with us, so that you'll know that you will see all the videos. And So you will know what were the last Zoom, the content of last Zoom. A lot of times I will actually ask some teachers that are already here and they share their experiences. I've also brought in like speakers from, administrators or superintendents. I've had them come in and talk to the teachers so that you could ask questions about from their perspectives. So this summer it's hard because I have not arranged anything because a lot of times administrators are very busy in the summer. There's a lot of things we did. We usually had like 2 weeks of break. That's all we had. And so I do not know when people are taking their break. A lot of times it's in July when people are taking their break. So now most schools have actually started already. Some states they would start about third week of August, but in Arkansas, it seemed like I have heard of some schools starting at the third week of July. And because they were given three options, they can either do the traditional schedule, which is August through May, and then or they could do a 4-day school. That means that they don't have school. Sometimes no Friday, so they go Monday to Thursday, or sometimes they say no Monday. So anyway, so they'll have a 3-day weekend, and they would extend the school time. So instead of leaving at 3 o'clock, they might do 4 o'clock. And then that way they are able to pay for that 6 hours, whatever it is that they are supposed to pay for for that fifth day that they're not having. My sister teaches at a school like that. She only has, I think this is her 27th year. So 28 years in Arkansas, you can retire. So after this year, she's got one more year and she could retire. And so her school does that. So every Friday she's off, which is nice because her husband is retired already. So the two of them could actually do things together as a three because of their 3 days off instead of 2 days. So that's been a lot of some people are already trying that too. And then the third way is for around they call them school year round year round schooling, which is like that's when they start in July, for example, and so they would have different breaks. Like they would have a winter break, for a week. They would have, another week here and there. So they would take the break in different times of the year instead of like, the traditional one, you're off pretty much off June and July. So you're off 2 months in a row. But research is saying that the kids lose a lot in the summer. That's called the summer loss. That means that the teachers have to start over because that's a 2 month break and your brain had to start over and try to kind of teach them again, skills because they forgot. So that's why the year-round school is their solution to that the kids maybe have a shorter summer break, but then they have break all the way, every other month or whatever, they have a break of another week or, a week here, a week there. So there are some schools that are trying that. I know I think Las Vegas, Nevada, they have, I don't know if that's a statewide one. I know that I have a friend that works there and that's what they do year round. So yeah. And so anyway, that's something you could also, it will also be on their website. So that's something you need to know, because when you are being interviewed, you will know, what their school does. So unmotivated kids, let me see, Nagalum or Annabelle or Benevic. Benevic is one of those two from the. Benevic, do you want to answer about the unmotivated kids? What would you do if you have somebody that just refused to do something because they're unmotivated, they're not motivated to learn?
Doc,
Yes.
before Sir Benevic talk, we would like to congratulate Sir Benevic for his visa approved.
Oh, congratulations,
Yeah.
Benevic. You're going to Hope, Arkansas, right?
Ma'am, my husband is with another call together with the teachers in Hope right
Oh,
now.
Okay, good
So
job.
he has a meeting right now. That's
Okay.
why he want me to attend this meeting.
Yeah,
So
no
thank you
problem.
for your congratulations.
Yeah, well,
So
tell him that I'm so
eh,
excited. So I get to meet him in person.
yeah, we're just waiting for our school clearances to until to the central office so that
Okay.
the CFO will able to issue a certificate so that we could book it right away.
That is so good. That is so
Hoping for that.
nice.
That's the only. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes,
So what
ma'am.
what
Doc,
um what visa
Doc,
what visa sponsor did you use? Did you use GEC
The
or who?
HRC.
Who?
It's HRC, ma'am.
Oh, HRC. Okay,
HRC.
HRC is good. Yeah, HRC usually
Yeah.
HRC is one of the better ones. And did they cost them anything, or
And
the school paid?
um
School paid?
we paid for the program fee and the service fee, and it's fair enough actually comparing from other visa sponsors. The process is too smooth and it's done so easily actually. We just waited for about at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks, but then and we computed our expenses and it's just fair enough.
Yeah,
And as far as I heard, it will be refunded right away when
nice.
he got there.
Yeah, I think what happened is Hope High School, they have already hired, they may have eight or more teachers there. I have met about more than half of them, because a friend of mine that teaches there, Cecilia, she invited us. Hey, there's a cute kid. She invited us to come to her house so that I could meet the other teachers, and so they came over and we ate some Filipino foods. So you will be well. He will be working at a really nice, very nice building, very nice school district, and very supportive administrators. As far as I know, if they like you, they will go ahead and switch from, later on, they're gonna try to help you so that you can stay longer or whatever. It's a lot of times the visa sponsors, they really do not want you to switch visas, because they are visa sponsor J1, they are teacher exchange visa sponsor, and they really do not ever want to talk, like, especially if you're talking to the American embassy, you can say, well, I'm going to switch into H1B, because J1 is, there should not be any dual intent. Like, you are there to be a teacher exchange. That means that you are going to be learning about American culture, and you're going to be sharing about the Philippine cultures. It's a cultural sharing program, and that the intention is you have 5 years that you stay here, and then there is a 2-year physical presence requirement. So you have to be asked to
Yeah.
go back to the Philippines, teach for 2 years about what you learn, and then you can always come back. There's no limit of how many times you can come back. But in some cases, and I don't know, some people had been in situations where they were able to apply for a waiver. And the waiver is, there are 5 different reasons where you can be on a waiver. Sometimes it could be, that you are afraid to go back to the country that you come from, because you can get an asylum visa or something. Or it could be because some people have kids here in America, and they'll have to be able to show that if we move the kid back to the Philippines, and the child would be really, affected, because this child is an American, citizen child, and taking them away from, especially if they have health issues. And you want the health things, here in America better than the Philippines, for example. But anyway, there are 5 different conditions that one of them could be the cause of approval for waiver. But that is something that your sponsor, your J1 sponsor, is not going to want you to get into, because they really want you to come legitimately to learn and to teach about it. It's a teacher exchange, it's a cultural exchange. Okay. But if you're H1B, like Mike is H1B, that is a path to green card. That is really a dual intent. You come here to work legally, but then it's a path to green card. So if the school likes you, like Hope, if they like you, they will sponsor you, which means if the school is the sponsor, it costs you zero. They pay for everything if they are the sponsor. H1B, you have to have the school as a sponsor because they're the boss. And then so you apply, and then they'll do the paperwork and all that. And so when you get your green card, then you are here, I think 10 years. And then after that, before that, you could apply for citizenship. So if you pass your citizenship test, you're here for good. So, but if you only do a green card holder and you don't want to become a U.S. citizen, which some people don't, they want to continue to be a Filipino citizen, because once you become an American citizen, you drop your Filipino citizenship, because you have to choose American. But then later on, you could all go to, like, Houston. I did that. I'm a dual citizen. You can go to, like, Houston, Texas, where the Philippine embassy is, and I applied for dual citizenship. and so I had to go in person to do that, and so I got approved. And but they still encourage you to, because I'm a U.S. citizen. It's actually better to have your U.S. Passport to travel, just because the U.S. passport can open doors to a lot of countries. And the Philippine passport is limited to what countries we are able to come, but the U.S. passport is a doorway to everywhere. So I would still travel using my U.S. passport. So that's what it is. There's a lot of options. So I forgot your first name, Miss Navales. I forgot your first name.
I'm Rona, ma'am.
Morana?
Rona.
Rana, Ronna, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Rana,
Yeah.
are you excited? Are you coming with him? I don't remember the plan was.
Actually, our original plan still, man, is we will be following around after
Here?
after a year could be. Yeah,
Okay.
after until he settled everything, and because we have kids. We
Right.
have two kids that we're planning to I need to assure first that the school, our house, our finances and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's really smart, especially if you have more than one kid, because it's expensive. A lot of times the school will not pay for it. You have to pay for it. But because your take-home pay is maybe 1,000 a week or something, 2,000 something every 2 weeks. So you're talking more than 100,000 every 2 weeks. So you could actually save, especially if he's gonna stay with some folks that they're contributing as a group, and so they would divide the expenses by two, three, four people, and so you can save money. They can save money in order to bring their families here. I bet you can do, like, especially if you owe money back home, they will pay that first, and then after that they start saving. By 3 months, 4 months, you should be able to have enough money to pay for your expense, because a lot of times your expense will be coming here on one way ticket, not two ways. So you're talking maybe 1,000 per you and the kids. So that's maybe 3,000 for you, plus whatever the J2, you call J2 visa holder if your husband is J1. So as a J2 holder, you will pay the visa sponsor a fee also. And I don't remember what that one was. It's less than 1,000. So you may be thinking about maybe coming up with $5,000. He should be able to get that within 2 to 3 months. So that, it might not need a year. But the thing is, you are so lonely. He's gonna be so lonely. You're gonna have fun in the Philippines. You have all your family, but because he's new here, he may have, other teachers, but he will be so lonely and missing the kids and you. So I would just warn you that that's going to be a miserable existence. But at least with the technology now, you can talk anytime, like, you can chat all the
Yeah.
time. But before, when
Yeah.
I was, in 87, when I came here, I was missing my husband so bad when I went to Philippines. I did not even last 3 weeks, because I was so missing him so bad. So I really admire those that could handle 1 year and you come. That is a
Yeah.
challenge. That is a challenge. More of the end here. Because in the Philippines, you have so many friends and family to support you. But here, he's going to
Yeah.
come here and have acquaintances. Of course, I'm going to be here. I don't care where they are in the United States. They're going to have me as a support. Whether the school paid me or not, they can always call on me and see if they have any issues or whatever. I could handle, helping them with their administrators. So if there's something that I don't know how to handle this or whatever, I'll be glad to handle it. The superintendent actually called me, so he knows me well. The superintendent of Benevix, so Jonathan Crossley. And so he is, I think he's doctor. But anyway, so he's really, really nice, and he's very supportive of the Philippine teachers. I want to call him later to see what kind of support that he wants me to provide for the new teachers, because that's needed. And I know they have each other there, but I think because I have help, like Benefits part of my group, and I know him, he knows me, that he might feel comfortable. But some schools would do like a once a year visit, once a month visit. Hey, somebody's talking. Who is that? Guys, will you please mute it if you're not with talking to me? Thank you. But anyway, so I could offer like a once a month visit. I would go there for, they pay me, not that the teachers will not pay me, the school will pay me. And what I do is I observe the classroom, and I would actually sometimes teach in front of the students and show them things, and then I would make a comment using the same instrument, like an observation instrument that their principal would use. So I actually would give them a hint of like things that they're already strong on and things that they may still need to work on. So I would give them that, and they would have a copy of my observation, plus the principal will have a copy, superintendent will have a copy, or whoever else they want me to send a copy. So it's very transparent. I may say verbally some things that I really want this teacher to work on. I don't have to put my report, but I would say, hey, make sure you do this or whatever. But a lot of time it's very transparent. They know exactly the big picture, that these are the things that we need to work on. And a lot of times it is something that's very easy to fix, very easy to fix. That's why my good example, I don't know if Leslie is here. This is Giselle's cousin. She would, she took notes of what I said the first visit. And then the next visit, oh my gosh, I struggled to see what I can suggest because she already addressed it. She was so fast at addressing another issue. So that is something that's not hard. So because a lot of times because they're able to come here, they usually are good teachers. So school administrators are very good at reading nonverbal, at listening to you when you talk. Some people would just say, okay, I'm going to interview, but all they want to do is have you to talk about yourself for like 1 or 2 minutes, and then they make a decision off of that because of they are actually watching you. 70% of our language is nonverbal. So they're actually watching you, your action, your passion, and so on. And they can tell the difference. If somebody is really, they call them hungry, that means you really want it. You really, really want it. And that's very obvious on your answers, on the answers that you have. And if you're caring, which Benedict is, I have been in interviews where Vinivik was there because some districts would invite me to come and sit on interviews, and which is good for me because I would see the things that they're using from the materials from the Zoom. It makes me happy. I felt like this mother that, oh, my child did well, kind of type thing. But yeah, they did so well about it. He did a good job of interviewing. Giselle did, and many of them or all of them did. And so I'm so proud. I'm over there swelling with joy and happiness that they did a good job, interviewing. And in my mind, I already knew that, oh, I bet this person will be hired because the answers were really good, you know. And so anyway, so yeah, so Benedict had a long path, but I'm so glad you all got approved already. Yay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to see if you really could wait a year. My guess is that it's not gonna be a year. You're gonna be like, oh, I miss him, or I miss her. So yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. Planning ahead, like having your housing situated and so on, is such a good idea. You don't want to just come in here and like, no, where are we gonna live? Although the schools are usually helping you. Like if I have a contract with a school, for example, Brinkley, this is my 4th year with them. Like I come every week at their school. In Maria's school, I come every single month. That's Mike's school. I will come every week, and then I would observe them every week. And so then they get a comment from me. And so if that is one of my schools that I'm helping, I'm even helping them with like finding houses if they need me to, and getting them connected to people that may own apartments or own homes that they're trying to rent. Or a lot of times it's the teachers. The teachers at the school will have something, or they know somebody, or from church that would have something that they could rent. So they will help you. They don't just take you there and throw you out there and no help. They will, and the best support he will have are the other Filipino teachers that's there. And I think he's already communicating with some of them, so that's a good thing, right? Yeah. So is
Yeah.
Benedict going to be working with other folks that are part of our ITSA group here, or
I thought there's a one teacher, ma'am, that
it was
could be part of the
was
whole
it Myrna?
district.
Is it Myrna? Because Myrna was going to be
No,
hired.
Ma'am Mirna, I think she will be in late.
Lee County, yeah. But who was the
Lee
other one?
County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it then the other one?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But there's another one who's also a Filipina, but it's
Mhm.
not part of the
Also,
ITSA.
It's not part of it. Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, and so far, he had the Metro online meeting with a previous. Actually, it's a Filipino also from North Cotabato, coming
Yeah.
from other country, also from Saudi to America. Then
Nice.
he's their what do you call this one? This instructional facilitator. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right?
He's a
Yeah,
Filipino.
Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Robin is a
Yes.
Filipino.
Yes.
The one
I think
who's
I've met him.
assisting him.
Yeah, I think I've met him. I don't know. I don't know if he was one of those that came to Cecilia's house, but they're all nice. So Benedict would be right, would feel, you know, at ease with them. But really, really nice
Actually,
support.
there were right now they are fixing the house, what would be the
Yeah.
terms and everything,
Yeah.
the light, the
Utilities
house
and so on.
bills and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Cool. It should be because Arkansas is a pretty cheap state to live in. It's actually they call them that it's this low living standard, not high living standard. So your expenses are gonna not gonna be as high. Like they may be able to find an apartment there for like less than 1,000 a month, and if you deal with other people, you could get a 2 or 3 bedroom one. So everybody will have their own bedroom, and then you share the expenses. It's very common here to have a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom house, and each bedroom will have somebody there. I know for a fact that in that school they actually have like a husband and wife living with single people, and then they have how they divide that is that they count it as two, because there are 2 people. So when they do the division of expenses, that group, that pair, that couple will be paying 2 parts, you know. And so that's fair to do that, especially when it comes to the food part. And they take, I think the Helena folks, helped them find this big house. Like there were 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them, and the house had 5 bedrooms, and there was one master bedroom upstairs, and there's another one master bedroom downstairs. And so the first 2 people that came, they were able to get the big bedrooms. And but they divided it. They divided the money, when they went grocery shopping, and so everything is divided by 4 or 5, whatever they were number. And so if they spent $100, everybody will pay. If there were 4 of them, there's $25, and that would last them so many, a week or two, or whatever. And then they also divided the task, like they have a schedule of who's gonna do breakfast, who's gonna cook, who's they're gonna eat at school during lunch, but for supper, who's gonna be the supper person cooking or whatever. So I have tasted their food. They are really good cooks. Hey, Mike,
Yes,
when
yes,
you
Doc.
first moved to Helena, how many people were living in that big house? The first house you
It's
were in?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're 6.
There's 6 of you, but there were only 5 bedrooms. So how did you do that? Was there somebody that did not have a bedroom?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have
I
our own bedrooms po doon.
Well, I think what happened was there was this big room and they put 2 beds in there. Remember? I think that room by downstairs, they had
Yeah, yes.
yeah,
That's
I think
before
that's what
po. Yeah,
yeah, I
before
think that's
before
what happened. They have
some
two
of the
beds.
teachers live
Yeah.
po.
But do you know, Mike, that was a haunted house?
Yes,
You
I
knew about
remember
that.
last. Yeah, I remember the first time you told that to me. I'm not scared about that, and
You
then
know.
when you told me, I started to scare about that house.
But it's so funny because my mom went with me, and my mom said there was an old lady sitting in the corner, and I'm like, she was describing this lady, and I'm like, so I had to do a research of like who lived in that house, and I found out that an aunt was living in that bedroom where there were 2 beds, and that's where I mean I don't think she died there, but she died. You were living there, and she might have died at the hospital, but it would be natural to like if her spirit is still like lingering there, and Mama said it was a nice looking lady that seemed friendly, and she was sitting there in a corner. And then
Mm.
Leslie
And
and them were, remember, they were listening, and they thought that people were eating, and they hear the sounds of the plate and the knives and forks, and then they thought some people were eating, and they went to where the dining table was, and there was nobody there. It happened more than once. And so anyway, but that house is now sold. It was actually for sale, and I begged them to like please rent it to our teachers because they really need housing. And that luckily for us, that was owned by a former teacher at that school. So that teacher really thought, well, I could help them, so they rent it to you guys. And so and then later on, of course, when their families came, they need their own place. They're not Mike. From there, did you go to where did you go and live, Mike? Did you go to somewhere else?
Yes po.
Marvel?
Me, Doc Edison, April, and Dina, the school district po.
Oh yeah.
We rented the district house.
Yeah, and that was nice too. You got a big house there. Yeah, that was a
Yes
nice
po.
looking house.
And then you visited us there.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah. I had yeah, you did. Yeah, Edison has a nice room. And
Yes.
so but yeah, I think that was the district's superintendent was gonna live there, and then the superintendent had his own place, so he didn't need it, and so you rented it from the school, which was nice of them to do that, right? And then
Yes,
after
I
that,
think
you have
we
your own
stayed there for
place.
only 2 months po.
Yeah, and then you have your own apartment, Mike. So I went
Yes,
there
after a
too.
month. Yes po.
Yeah,
I'm the first one who left that house po.
yeah,
That house.
yeah.
And then
But now
after 2 months, after two
your
months
later
they
house,
decided.
your current house, I have not been. Mabel was telling
Yes
me
po,
about,
in Marble,
yeah,
Marble next to uh, to Ma'am Abby's house. And
yeah.
and Doc, I think Ma'am Mirna is here, and we would like to congratulate her also for her visa
Visa
approved.
approval. Yay! That's so awesome. Here you are talking to me in Zoom, and then pretty soon you'll be here talking to me in person. So I would like to invite you guys to some weekend to come and maybe get together here at my house and Zoom with everyone and be on this side of the world, to Zoom. I think that's exciting. And like Marilu, this is pretty motivating for folks that are still there because it's gonna happen. It could happen. It's not just a
Yes,
dream,
ma'am.
like like barking at the moon. It's not like that. It's possible. These folks here, I've been talking like I'm talking to you, and here they're gonna
Yes,
about to come here. So after they get approved from the, embassy, and all they have to do is get this extra paperwork that they need to get out of the country, and then buy the ticket and come here. So
yes.
I'm so excited. I think that's 4-hour drive for me. They're on the other part of the state. They are close to Louisiana. So if you look at the Arkansas, the map of the US, the Arkansas is here and Louisiana is on the bottom. So it's in the south. So we go to south. I go to Little Rock and it's about an hour from Little Rock. So I'm 3 hours from Little Rock. So about another hour to go to Louisiana. But it's a nice place there. It feels pretty safe, and it's more of a big city. So it's got lots of restaurants and it's got lots of places to shop. So it's not a bad situation at all. It's a nice place. And that's where Bill Clinton, the former president, was born. So in fact, Bill Clinton's place, his childhood home, where his parents lived, is very close to the school. I toured it.
In
It's a
Arkansas.
tourist attraction now. And it is by the
Yes,
school. It's very close to that Hope High School. Yeah, so Hope is very, very popular because this is the hometown of Bill Clinton.
Bill
They were not
Clinton.
very,
Yes.
yeah. So it's
I
a
saw
small
their
place.
house.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
So
once there in their house.
you have been there. You have visited it.
Yeah, we have
Ah,
visited. We visited US last 2003.
okay. So
The
you
whole
did.
family.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah. You're lucky that you have done that. Yeah. That you have seen it. Not very many people have, you see. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
times when they travel to the US, that's their first time ever. I know was Benedict Arana, was Benedict already in another country or were you coming from the Philippines? I don't remember. Some of them came from Qatar or Saudi Arabia. But I think Benedict is really from the Philippines, right? Rana?
This will be his first travel,
First
ma'am.
travel. Oh my God. Is he
Um,
excited? Is he
this will
is he
be his
nervous?
first travel out of the country.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he has experience already with a plane ride. But this
Yeah.
will be the first time that you'll get out from the country.
Well, I think if Myrna has been approved too, and if they could travel together, that's the best way. if you have somebody to go, although when they get to Little Rock or Memphis, wherever airport they're going to use, they will split up because they're going to be people meeting them there in order to take you to wherever your school is. So, but you can still ride together from the Philippines. So if their route is through South Korea, so a lot of times when we fly as a family, we go to South Korea, and from the Philippines will be South Korea, and then after that, that might be Chicago. Chicago would be your port of entry. That's where the border agent will be. So they will, that's where you would get clearance, and they ask you, do you have something to declare? So if you brought like dried fish, it should be in your check-in luggage instead of your carry-on, because in carry-on they will confiscate it in Manila. But anyway, so I always would say, yes, I brought some dried fish. But when you bring dried fish, which he might want to bring, you have to make sure that you go and like a tabuan, for example, and you buy the one that's vacuum packed. A lot of them have a vacuum packer thing, so it looks like you bought it in Gaisano, because it's very vacuum packed, and it's very you won't stink up your clothes, of course, and it's just really nice to have a vacuum packed thing. That's what I do anytime I go home. I always look, and my brother knows which vendors would have the vacuum pack thing, and then so I would buy a bunch, and I would just put them. You can put them in a box too, but anyway. But of course, we have lots of luggage when we go because we have kids with us, and you're allowed two. So if there are three of us, then we are allowed six. So you can bring a bunch, and let me see. Hope you're close to. You're only 1 hour. This is gonna be only 1 hour from Little Rock, and Little Rock has a very big Oriental store. So there's no problem him getting fish, getting sardines, getting rice, getting all these things that you ever need, like you buy in the Philippines, they're there. That's what every time I go to Little Rock, I would stop by Sam's Oriental store. And this is across the gate from, right across the road from the University of Arkansas, Little Rock. Like the gate is across the road from it is the Asian store. And so every time I go to Little Rock, I try to go because it's pretty handy. It's close. And so that's something that the other Filipino teachers will help him and would take a trip, and then they would go grocery shopping in Brinkley area, or where Mike is. They're close to Memphis. They're about an hour from Memphis. So they're in Memphis. There's an international farmers market that has all kinds of food. I was just there the other day. I was at Brinkley on last Thursday. And so we stopped by the farmers market. Mama had given me some money to buy some seafood. So we had filled up a cooler full of seafood, from fish, to there was some snapper, Mama's favorite, fish, and there were like octopus and shrimp and salmon, things like that. And then some other grocery things that she listed for me, and some fresh vegetables from Ampalaya to what was it? Ampalaya, papaya, and other some fresh vegetables that I brought for her. Taugi, she had that bean sprouts. So yeah, I think Mama was saying to me, "Come back on Saturday after you Zoom so we can eat this food that you had. I'll cook this food that you brought." So yeah, it's so Marilu, since you have been here before, that's not going to be hard for you to fly, and I'm sure that wherever you will be, I'm sure Shangi would be meeting you. So hopefully, if you get a job, Marilu, here, get a job closer to Arkansas. That way, it's not going to be a very long travel for you to visit them, and vice versa. I know that. So your brother is Shangi's husband? Is that what it is, or is it your husband's brothers? Marilu, how are you related to Shangi? Are your husband's brothers? Or you cannot hear me? I guess you cannot hear me. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So Benny, we're moving on. Rana, congratulations again. Tell Benevic for me, okay? All right. So Mike talk. Let me see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will.
All right. Who else? Cannot believe they're all coming now. So now I'm sad because the elementary, Marlon and my cousin, and Fran, my cousin, and also Giselle, you're not coming yet. But do you know that I talked to I talked to Kendrick. And so I told him that, hey, Kendrick, you got a LCA now. So I hope that you consider, we still have our elementary teachers left. So he has not answered me because it was a really quick conversation because he was going to be about to go on Zoom. But he did talk to me. So I was very shocked that they have the LCA now. Did you hear that, Mike, when I said that the LCA was finally received after 6 months? All right. So
Yes.
yeah. So Mr. Bautista or Ryan or Maria Amelia, who wants to talk? If you
Uh,
want to talk, let me know.
Mr. Bautista, Doc, it's one of Girly's colleague, Doc, and he's one of my former colleague. He has introduced himself before already,
Okay, let me see.
but he can talk also.
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Dong, Ryan,
Hi, Ryan, or
and
who was it that want to talk?
Doc Merlina.
Yes. Hi,
It's
Hi, congratulations, Myrna. Yay.
yeah, I messaged you in Facebook in Messenger
Did you? I have not even
to
checked it. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, yes, it was it was good. It was
Oh my,
good. So
that is so cool.
uh,
Were the questions hard? What were the questions they asked you at
no,
the
I
embassies?
was I was just asked where are you going? So I said Mariana, Arkansas. Then what will you do? I will be teaching science high school secondary. And that's it. But I got nervous because when he said, "Do you have the birth certificate and the marriage contract?" Then I showed her all those papers from the PSA.
Hmm?
And then I got worried a bit because he asked, "Do you have the Qatar copy of your son's birth certificate?" Because he was born in Qatar.
Hmm.
And then oh, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't have the copy, but I do have the copy of our marriage certificate from Qatar. And then he noticed maybe, the consul maybe noticed that I was a bit, worried. And she's, it's okay. Just relax. It's okay. This will do. And then, after that, do you have you read that this booklet? Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll just keep this passport and then you can get it after 5 days, she said. But
With the
I'll
visa,
just
yeah.
try. Yeah. I will try to go there maybe by Tuesday because I scheduled for pickup. I don't want it be delivered because maybe when the mailman come, no one is in the house. So I'll just go to MOA and have it claimed. Then after that, I will process the SCFO and God's willing, Doc, maybe by next Sunday we will book a flight.
Yay, that's exciting. After you've rested, I will have to come see you because I have when the contract this year will be signed at Brinkley, this principal already told me, superintendent already told me that they will hire me again as a consultant. So I will be going to Mike's school, if not it will be at least once a month I'll be there, but maybe twice. But the other 2 weeks I'm hiring, my partners, my consulting partners, Lisa Bailey and my friend Debbie Gibson. There's 3 in our team now. And so they will be working for me, and so they'll be seeing them. Your principal there is Michelle Branch is the elementary principal, and then her husband is your principal at Lee County.
Well,
So
yeah.
their husband and wife team, and Michelle and I went to school together. So she and
That's
I are buddies. So she and I talked, and I said, hey, if you look at your budget and if you are able to afford it, I would love to visit your school and support these new teachers. So hopefully they will do that, even if it's just once a month. Because if I'm already gonna be there anyway, I could just because that's only, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes from Brinkley. So it's
yeah,
gonna be,
yes.
yeah, it's gonna be less than an hour. So if I'm already in the area anyway, I could just put an extra day before or after. I'm gonna be in Brinkley
That would be a
every Thursday. So if they can book me for like a Wednesday, and in that
yeah.
way it will be back to back that way. I think that will be fun to watch you in your classroom. Yeah.
Yes, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah,
We
I'll
are
talk.
actually preparing. Joel will just go to his hometown to visit my mother-in-law just
Mm.
for 2 days, couple of days. And then I told him be sure to be back by weekend because we're going to book our flight.
Okay. And so
And
so he will be a
I
J2
just want
visa for
to,
you,
yes,
right?
po.
And he
Mm-mm.
will he would be J2, so which means he could work after he gets his AED
Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes.
authorization.
The school yes, he already informed the school and they said it's okay.
Yeah. So how are you
Mm.
gonna do with the driving though? Because you're gonna be living where? Where will you be living?
Uh because Mr. Branch asked me, I think they will arrange first a temporary apartment for us while I'm looking for the apartment. But I think Sir Mike's place, that would be our place. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Marvel is very close to Lee County. So yeah. So it's
So
so
that would be the arrangement. For the
yeah.
meantime, we will go to the one that will be provided by the school temporarily, and then maybe for after a couple of days,
Mhm.
we'll go to Mike's place and then settle there.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
And
Because the yeah.
my son doesn't want to be my student. He
Oh,
told
okay.
me, I don't want to be your student.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Well, the that's a nice community there. Lots of people already because in Helena alone we have 15 teachers from the Philippines.
Mhm.
And then of
Yes.
course in Lee County they may have, do you know how many they have? They may have 5 or 6 already.
Uh, Mr. Policarpio, Mr. and Mrs. Policarpio. Then there's another one, three, four, five. I think five. The five of us for Lee High School. For Lee High School.
And there's some elementary. Did they hire elementary or no?
I did not hear them hire an
Okay.
elementary.
Mhm. So it's gonna be and there's in Barton. Barton's close to, and there's 3 of them there. And so
Mhm.
Brinkley, there's 6 of you. So that's 6, 9,
7 po, Doc.
14,
We will be
29.
7 there.
Oh, okay. So about 30 people already right there in those just few schools.
Yeah,
So
a
30
big
right
number.
there. Yeah. So big number. You're really building a strong Filipino community there because they always have a get together. Mike and them, they went to a pool party at my Lisa's friend's house the other weekend,
Yeah.
and I taught them how to play mahjong.
Yes, Doc. I'm so excited to play again.
Yeah, Mike was a fast learner. He really could learn fast. And who else was playing with us, Mike? You and
Koi,
Coy. Yeah.
Koi, yeah, and Junar.
Junara, yeah. So I taught these guys to do that, and then I taught their wives too. So that hopefully between all that, they'll have enough players when I come visit. We'll have to play that one night. I'll usually stay at the hotel, but I try to visit them. And Giselle's cousin Leslie, one of my favorite folks there, she always cooks me chicken soup or something because they're my favorite. But yeah, and Mabel, oh my gosh, Mike's wife is one of the best cooks ever. On my last party, our 37th wedding anniversary, she cooked a bunch of stuff and she's really cool. She's really a good cook too. Really nice lady. Mike, do you know you're so lucky to have Mabel? She is so, oh my gosh, Mike, you did an
Yeah, I'm
awesome
so
job.
lucky. I don't know if she's lucky of having
Well, I
me.
think it's mutual. I think she's lucky with you too, but I think she really is talented. Oh my gosh, she's so talented, right? And so I hope you do appreciate her because she really
Mhm.
deserves it. And you have 2 beautiful kids. The kids are so
Yes.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did good. Both of you did a good job with those 2 girls. And the one is very shy, right? The older is not as shy as the younger. Is that right?
Yes
The
po,
older
the
one,
younger.
yeah, yeah. When she was swimming over there in the pool, I was observing them, and she seems really shy. But Mabel is a little baby that she looked like one of the kids in the pool.
I remember last time. Where did we go? Yeah, in during the what you call this, the open house, and then the I don't know the name of the secretary there in where is that? I know the teacher, Miss Leon in Brinkley. She
Yes.
told me, where is your daughter here? Among the 3. The
Yeah.
eldest who will be coming here because she thought that Mabel is also the eldest daughter.
You don't look that old, Mike. But anyway, but yeah, but she does look young. She does look young. She's
Mhm,
happy and she's always seemed to be
mhm,
a very pleasant face. So you would think she's younger than what she is because she's so
mhm,
little. She's
mhm.
little. Yeah.
Yes, po.
So yeah,
And we're
so
so excited, and I sent the picture to Ma'am Mirna and Sir Joel that um Sir Joel's room has already his name already there posted there.
nice,
Mhm.
nice.
Yes,
Yeah, so
po.
I'll be seeing you guys there. So yeah, they were
Yeah.
talking about Joel Myrna the other day when I was doing I was doing 2 PDs with them. I did the artificial intelligence and tools, and then
Yes.
I did
Yes.
a writing one.
Atlas, Atlas
Yeah,
din.
yeah. Oh yeah, okay. And
So,
Mike was there, huh?
yeah, I was just asking what would be the best point of entry. Meaning, we are still thinking from Philippines to where, and then from this place to I do not we do not know yet.
Well, it
the point
depends
of
on what your airline is. Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
Philippine Airlines, a common thing is to stop by California,
LA. Yeah,
LA.
Cali. Yeah.
But I
Mm.
think if
so
you
from
do
San
from
Francisco.
yeah, if you do
to
Cathay Pacific, especially if you're coming from Cebu, Cathay Pacific will go straight to Cebu and could skip Manila. And so for Cebu folks, I would recommend Cathay Pacific. Usually they're the cheapest as well. And then their path is usually going through South Korea and then Chicago. That's a very or could be a Korean Airlines is another option that you have, and that's always like Chicago area. That's so it's on the Midwest part of the United States. Well, the Philippine airline, the PAL, would always go through Hawaii, and then California is either LA or San Francisco. But I would recommend the Chicago one or either one because the it will be cheaper to get from Chicago to Memphis instead of going all the way to the other side on the west side of California to Memphis. But Memphis would be your to go. Memphis would be the better airport, closer airport than Little Rock, right, Mike?
Yes
Would
po, but
yeah,
my my last airport is Little Rock.
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah,
But I
it's
told them, yes po, I told Sir Joel, yeah, it's any of them because Memphis is around 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it's also near to where I am, Marvel. So it
mm,
going to Little Rock because the interstate I-40.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's really the same. The only thing is that it's actually
yeah.
cheaper to buy one to Memphis because if you do Little Rock, that's an extra. They will stop by well, they'll be by Memphis and then go to Little Rock. So it's actually cheaper for them to buy one. If they're
Mm-hmm.
paying for it, they should get the Memphis one because that's a less one flight less, one flight less
Yeah.
for them. So
But
I would
majority of the teachers who came here, um, their entry is here in Memphis.
Okay. Yeah. But
okay, well,
you know what I don't like about the Memphis airport is so big. I mean, it's so big. Like one time I traveled through Memphis and I forgot to remember where I parked. There's so many stories of the parking, and I'm like over there pushing my button to see if my car would make the alarm. I mean, I felt like so silly because it was at night too, and I was by myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Marlena, why? Now with iPhone, it would actually tell me now. But yeah, it was hard that I did not know. So one thing you should do is remember where you park in Memphis. But Little Rock is so small that I love in Little Rock because it's so simple. I usually park right there, just right behind the building in the short-term parking type thing. And then I just wait there and then they come out and boom, right there. It's not very far away. Well, Memphis, you have to walk very far in order to go to your place. Or in fact, they have like a little bus thing that would take customers, I mean passengers, to their cars. They have that too. But the Little Rock is so small that you can just like either walk across the road to the parking, or you can just do the build from the behind the building by the taxi stand. That's where I actually would park because that's the closest. So anyway, so yeah, that's just so exciting. And so you let me know when, and that way I'll make sure that when I do visit Brinkley, I'll go by your place. One of the things that I planned to, that I did not get to do, I was gonna go by Abby's place. That's Giselle's and Leslie's relative. And so she just brought her 3 kids here. I'm so excited. 3 out of her 4 kids are here. She picked them up this summer, and I was wanting to meet them in person. I've seen these kids when she does talk to them online, but I have not seen them in person. So I'm so excited. I've been watching the Facebook, so they've been posting things, but I want to meet them in person. So that's one of the things that I want to do. So that's so exciting to see the folks that you were just now in Zoom, and then how are you going to be coming to the US already? So yeah, this is a dream that came true for you, Myrna.
yeah, Marlena,
Mm.
yesterday had it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, we finally met Mr. Benevic and Miss Rona. We were
Ah,
together, have the same schedule, and yeah, finally we met.
good, good. That's why I
So
just said,
how I wish we can travel to the US together.
you,
Once the benefit
yeah.
clearance.
And I think you can and you should, because especially that he has not been, abroad. And I think that would really, you could help, you could really, you and Joel could really help him, guide him. Because
Yeah. But
I
then he
remember,
needs
hi
guidance
Joel.
pa eh. Hoy,
Yeah.
so don't worry.
Yeah, hi. If you can, you should travel with Benedict. That would help Benedict out a lot, to guide
But
him.
the thing is, maybe our travel would be this weekend, Doc Merlina, 16 or 17.
So it
So
depends on the paperwork when it's gonna be, yeah. So yeah, you
yeah,
can't wait each other because it's already school is starting already.
yes, because it's really hard to have a online class with the
Mhm.
students. So
Oh yeah, definitely, especially science. Oh my gosh. If you want
yeah,
to teach, yeah, if you're teaching
yeah,
computer, that's a different story. But
the thing, the mercy of internet connection. Either we have tropical depression, we don't have signal in our area.
yeah,
So
lots
it's
of
always
issues like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, really.
Yeah, but I think Hope has a really good internet, reception there. Last year I had a contract with them that to visit once a month, but that is through Bailey's, which is the company I also work for, so my side gig, and so I went there, but I was in the elementary. So I was coaching an elementary teacher, Cecilia. She's Filipino, and then two others. So I was coaching three teachers there. And so I got to see them. I got to see them once a month, and it's really nice to hang out with them and eat Filipino foods with them. One of them, like, one of the Filipino teachers even went with me to the hotel and hung out with us, you know. And so that was nice. And we just took them, to go have fun with her. But yeah, the Cecilia, the one that I had coached during our party here, 37th wedding anniversary, she actually drove all the way here. So that took them close to 5 hours, 4 hours something. But I told them, I said, you can spend a night here. I got a guest house, and they wanted to drive the same day. So they actually drove back. But my husband and her husband got to meet, which is nice. So we started visiting with them. So our husbands were able to meet, and they both are really smart people. So and so they have kindred spirits. But anyway, yeah. And your son is he excited about coming?
He is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He
How
is.
old is he now?
And 14.
14.
Again,
Okay.
under one condition that I will not be his teacher. That's his only.
Yeah, they try to avoid having your kid as your student. I with Jet, I was always like either a teacher or administrator where he was going to school. And in fact, he said, "Mom, are you following me?" Because when he was in the middle school, I was there as an administrator, and then when he moved to the junior high, I was moved as well. And they said, "Mom, you're following me. When I go to high school, you're gonna move too." And I said, "Jet, believe it or not, I didn't request for this. It just so happened that they needed another administrator there, and they moved my office there." And so anyway, but that was so nice. I was so happy that I got to see him. But what I did
Yeah.
was every time I would observe teachers, I would look at his schedule. I do not want to observe the teacher when Jet is there because I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. So I have never observed any of the teachers that where Jet is. But what they did was they would take a picture of Jet doing presentation, especially in science or whatever, and then they would send it to me. So Misty would like send me one and just made my day. Look at your son. Your son did a good job presenting. And then she would send me a short video of Jet's presentations. At the end of the day, I said, Jet, you did a good job on your science presentation. Mom, how did you know that? He said, well, I got to see a little short video of you. And so that was so nice, very thoughtful teachers. But yeah, they really do try to avoid having you teach your own kid here. They always did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's good.
Actually, so for him not to get bored, we temporarily enrolled him in one of the schools here in the Philippines
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah.
from Qatar, yeah, we enrolled him. He got the chance to go to school for a week, and then by Monday we will withdraw the enrollment.
Oh, okay. Well, they have one of the things that they do is they have to request the form from a school directly to a school. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They need to make sure that you make sure that you have the information for the school because that's what
Uh,
of the things that they
yes.
want to do. Yeah.
Actually, I already requested Doc because it's from Qatar. We had it authenticated by the Ministry of Education
Okay. But
from
yeah, some
Qatar.
schools are so strict about it has to be like you cannot be involved. It has to be from school to school.
Yeah, it has to be from one school to another. So they will send a request to the previous school, and then the previous school would have to send it to the current
Yeah,
true.
that's
Also, Ma'am Mirna, I just want to remind you also the immunization cards
Yeah,
or records,
yeah,
everything.
shot
Yeah,
we have.
records.
they need it there. And then
Yep.
I
Yeah, we
think
already have.
when MJ came here, they will also send him back to the clinic here because of the some of the vaccinations or immunizations that is not complete in the Philippines will be
Yeah,
completed here.
that's right.
Yeah, he had his vaccinations in Qatar
Mm-hmm. But
since.
the list would be different, Myrna. The list would be different in
Yeah,
the
it's
US.
different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So whatever he's
anyway,
missing, they're gonna give it to him. Whatever's missing on
yeah,
the list. Yeah.
that's good.
Sometimes
No problem.
six. I remember my two kids. They got a six
Just 6 12 shots.
shots
Yeah. It's not
in a
hard. It's
day.
not
Yeah.
it's not
Mhm,
painful. So they're very
mhm,
good at it. Yeah. You just
mhm.
feel like they pinch you a little bit and boom, that's it. I'm the number one chicken when it comes to shots, and I'm an adult and I still feel that way. I'm like, oh no, no. Can I avoid, doctor? Can I have like some pills or something instead of a shot? They said, oh, Merlina, the shot would be more efficient, more, it's quicker to get to you. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I want to avoid the needles. Especially if it's a big one. So anyway, but it will be okay because that's, by the way, that is a shot record. That is something you should always have, because anytime that you do anything with school, that's the first thing they ask is your shot record. So yeah, they will have the copy of it. Make sure that they have a copy of it at the health center. So if you ever lose your copy, you can just request from the health office. Every
Yes.
county here has a health department. And so the health department, like here, when we had our COVID issues or whatever, then they had all our records, and our
Yeah.
kids' records, because we have, of course, my kids were born here. So they have, so one time when I could not find my card, I just requested for another one. And of course, they have it in the computer, so they just printed me one. So yeah, that's something that you really need to watch, that you don't lose it. It's a pain to get if you do not have it in the city health, in the health office. But okay. All right. So
Thank you, Doc.
thank you so much for
Very good.
sharing. That just really made my day that you're all now coming soon. So
Yeah.
Paulina, are you
Thank
new, Paulina? Myrna, thanks again, and have a good trip, okay? You and Benevic
thank
and family. Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes. We're
So
praying for.
you're gonna bring your robotic stuff, right? You're gonna bring your robotics things with you?
Yes, yes, Doc. Some of them will be sent via mail. We'll see. We will bring some of those, and then the rest will just be sent by my mom.
Yeah.
Because some of our things are still not with us.
Mm-hmm.
We pack all our things from Qatar because we already left Qatar.
I see. Well, but if you are, because that's expensive, so what you need to do, I don't know if it's possible in the Philippines, but I know in the US, if I send something in the mail that is so expensive, I buy insurance for it. And I actually was
Oh,
able to use it one day. They lost something, and I bought insurance that's even double of what it was cost, and I was able to get the money because they lost it. So you need to be thinking about buying insurance if
oh,
it's going to be a lot of money. Yeah. So it's replaceable that way. Yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, you just
Thank you,
lose it.
Doc.
Yeah.
No,
Thank you. All right. All right. Yeah. Bye. Paulina, you want to talk to us, Paulina, or Nagalam? Whoever wants to
Good,
talk is fine.
good evening, Doc. I'm not new here.
Yeah,
I
Paulina, you look
already,
familiar. Yes. I just want to see how you're doing. It's been a long time
uh,
since you attended.
yes, Doc. I've been busy with work since we have a new curriculum here in the
You
Philippines. That's
do.
why.
What is it? What is it called? The new curriculum.
The Matatag curriculum.
What is that?
It's a different type of curriculum.
Really?
It's
How
it's
how di-
new.
how different is it? Is it based on Common Core or anything like that? No.
Actually, almost everything is new,
Ah,
including the schedule of teachers, the number of hours for teaching or the teaching hours.
really? What was the original teaching hours and what is the new one now?
It's actually we have 6 hours of teaching load per day,
Okay.
and in Matata curriculum we are to teach in 45 minutes. So we need to have at least 7 teaching load per day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 45 minutes. So it's shorter now. Shorter now. But so you get out from what time in the morning to what time in the afternoon?
our first period would be 5 5:15 or 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Where are you at?
Yes.
What part of the Philippines are you?
I'm from Batangas.
My gosh, Batangas starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh,
Yeah,
I
usually.
didn't know that
Because
you
we have
start.
shipping classes.
Oh, wow. And then you get out at what time?
12 something.
So you are
The last one is 12.
there's a morning and afternoon session. Is that what you're saying? That's why you have
Yes,
to
we
start
have two
from.
sessions.
I did not know. I thought when I went to Saudi Arabia, they started at 6. So which means I had to get up by 5 in order for us to at breakfast at the hotel before going. I thought that was too early. And now you're telling me it's 5. Is that something that just Batangas based or is that all over the Philippines? It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
I
It's all
think
over the
it's
Philippines.
all over the
Oh
Philippines.
my God. I cannot teach in the Philippines. I would go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. So there's no way. 3 o'clock,
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the
Me too.
morning. So yeah.
Yes, I think though. What where ma'am teaching is, I think that is a big school. Ma'am, are you in Banahes or Lemi High?
I'm from Santo Tomas, Batangas, sir.
Ah, yeah, yeah, sa San Pedro.
Wow. That is 5 o'clock.
So,
It's just a shock to me, guys.
not
I've never heard that.
specifically San
Ano?
Pedro, sir.
Yes, I thought in San Pedro. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm from
but it's a
Batangas
new
too.
preschool.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since you did 5 o'clock in the morning class? Has
Just
it
started this start
school?
of school year.
What was it before? Was it 6 o'clock before? Or what was it before?
Back then we started at 6:30 in the morning.
Golly, God. When I went to school, I remember when I was school, I didn't have kindergarten, but at first grade, I remember it was 7:15. But I live next door to the school. So I just like walk, get out of my house, and then boom, we just walk right there next building. There's the school. So I didn't have to. I remember having to, I had woken up early because I had to wake up early. My mom was in business of cafeteria thing, so I had to be up by 4:30. I was already in the store, in the market, in the Mandawi market, and I was already buying stuff with the maid, a couple of maids with me, and I was already buying the meat and the fish and vegetables every single day. So I was waking up early when I was little, but my brothers and sisters, no, they did not wake up early. But because I like to do that, I like to help like that. My mom asked me and trusted me, so I did. But as a motivation, whatever I was able to bargain, if like the fish was 1 peso and whatever it was a pound or 3 peso. I don't remember how much it was, but if I get like, oh, can you give it to me for 50 cents less because I'm buying 10 kilos or 5 kilos, and they said yes, and so whatever the bargaining thing is, I got to keep it. So I had money. So my siblings were like, oh my gosh, she has money. I would buy me clothes and so on. And they were so jealous because they weren't able to. And I had money to do that because I work hard. I woke up that early. But now teachers have to start working at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know about that. But at least you're done by noon. So that's a good thing, right? You're done by noon. So I think I could understand why tropical countries like the Philippines would have to do something like that because it's very hot. It gets hotter. And Saudi Arabia, I could see why they start at 6 o'clock and be done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the schedule. And that shocked me because nobody ever told me that until I got there. I said, what? We start at 6? When they told me they end at 2. So I said, okay, then it's doable because by 2:30 we were back at the hotel. So we have lots of times to do things, in the area. So we were visiting with each other and we went to the mall and all that stuff. But yeah, so I hope so when you do come here, you'd feel like, oh, I just died and went to heaven because most schools in America will not start till 8. Yeah, teachers will be asked to be there by 7:20, 7:30. So you're gonna be like, you can sleep in for 2 more hours, and they'll be done by 3 o'clock, 3:30, depending on when they started. And so that's it. And like in Brinkley, Maria her apartment's across the road from the school, so she walks to the school very easily. So yeah, it's very, very but if you teach at a charter school, for example, here, it's a charter school, it's still a public school, but they have different rules, like they can get away with things with teachers, seems like when I taught there, we have to be there by 7:30. We didn't get out till 5:30 because we had to host we have to be a sponsor to 2 different clubs. So after we get off, then we have to have club meetings with the students, and we have to have two of them. So that's why it went, it went to the 2 hours extra. And in the public, in a regular public school, if you ask teachers if you require a teacher to stay an hour or more, you have to pay them. That seems to be the case, but in charter school, they seem to get away with it. They're covered by a different rules. They have more bendable rules, and they're able to get away with that. And so actually, whenever you have to compare charter school versus a regular public school, your schedule will be better as a public school teacher, you know. And so some of the Catholic school, for example, if you go to private school, some of them don't even require you to be certified in the same area that you're teaching. But in a regular school, for visa purposes, you have to match your experience with your credential in order for you to be approved. They call them alignment. So there has to be an alignment with your experience and your credential. So I see a lot of happenings in the Philippines where you have a degree in high school, but you're teaching in elementary. That's a big no-no, because then they will say there's a misalignment because their experience that does not match your education. So if you're in that case, you need to try your best to also have an experience that's aligned to your degree, because it's good to have the additional one, but you really need to have at least 2 years of the actual aligned aligned to your experience and your credentials. So anyway, so is that yours? Is that your case, Paulina? Do you have what grade do you teach, and what is your area in your diploma? Is it the same?
I'm teaching secondary, Doc. I graduated Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in English.
English. Now, did you send me your cover letter and resume? Because I don't remember your last name in there.
I did the last time.
You did.
And then you sent me an email saying I need to prepare recommendation letters, but I still haven't had my recommendation
You don't worry, that's an
letters.
old one. Before I started, I asked that, but now I just need cover letter and resume. So that's all I'm asking now, because
I'll just send again.
yeah, just cover letter and a resume. And your resume needs to have a little picture on top, because normally a resume do not have that, but because international teachers, they want to see what you look like. So I've been recommending that those with pictures seem to have a better chance, because they kind of know what you look like. They have an initial look, because they a lot of time they have never hired Filipino teachers. And so they want to see, how does this teacher look like? This is something like a good fit. Like, what kind, are you happy person or whatever, positive person? And so I would recommend putting a, it is optional, but I highly recommend it, that you put in your picture on top, and then on the very bottom of your resume, you should have your 3 references. And the references need to have the name, of course, and the title. Is that a supervisor, principal, and then their email and phone number. You have to have at least 3, because what they do is, if they like you to be interviewed, they're gonna be emailing the people that you listed down there as your references. They would email them a survey about you. So that's gonna be a rating, usually between 1 to 10, for example, and in your organization, in your lesson planning, all the different things that they ask, about 10 or 11, 12 questions. And then so that the person recommending would have to fill it out and then send it. And I think they will make it part of the rubric, like how many points. So if each person is worth so many points, and then plus their interview, that's how they determine quantitatively if you're going to be the one or not. So that's what some schools are doing. But a lot of schools, they're just more going with a feel instead of a number. They kind of go with, a discussion after the interview, and they say, you know what, I like contestant number. I mean, the interviewee number 2, because I don't know, like with Giselle, for example, Kendrick, I hope you don't mind, Giselle, I'm gonna make you as an example. You really impressed Kendrick at West Memphis about how passionate you were at education. Like, she was almost crying when she answered, because she was so passionate about students, and he remember that of all the interviews. I really like that teacher. I really like that teacher that nearly cried because he's just so passionate about, that's what he was saying. So they will remember you by the things that you do, when answering their question. So do that. You have not had an interview yet, Paulina, you have not?
Actually, Doc, I had an experience with the interview, the parameter, but I'll be handling students with behavioral problems, and I'm kind of shocked with the
Yeah.
needs of
Paulette,
them.
yeah, Paulette is a friend of mine. I actually tried to help her get a visa. The problem is not very many, or she could not find any visa sponsor that would actually, partner up with them because it's a healthcare facility, not a school. And so that's really hard for her to get a visa. So I think she had a budget. She actually was gonna pay for all the stuff, but I think she said she was going to look into it and see if she could find a visa sponsor that would actually partner up with them. Because right now she could not find one. And I tried to get her hooked up with people I knew, but the people I knew, visa sponsors, they said no. And that's their rule, that's their own policy. So I could not, I mean, I told her that, someday if she ever decides to hire someone, that I'll try to see if you can find a sponsor that would, because it might be a J1 sponsorship like a hospital would instead of a school would, like in here in Mountain Home, which is 45 minutes from me where my sister lives. They had hospital had hired like 50 Filipino nurses, and they put them in one big new building, apartment building. And so we have all these Filipino teachers walking around, by that Gaisan or Walmart, we call that here. You can see them, a bunch of them. And I thought, are you like working here? And then a lot of them, they're nurses. They're not teachers or nurses. And they seem to be happy because they have this built-in community in the apartment. Every person has to have their own apartment. They could not share. They were strict about that. At least with teachers, they were not. Now nobody would ever control you on where you live. But I think in their situation, their sponsors really strict about you have to live by yourself. So anyway, so that's what somebody always have some kind of control. But the recruiter for that is a neighbor of my sister. So I actually called her one day when I was visiting, and I wanted to ask her about the process because I was wanting to expand helping nurses instead of just teachers. And so she said, well, if you ever decide to do that, let me know and I can help you, because that's what she did. She actually was the one that helped do the paperwork and hiring them. So she knew. So I said, yeah, I think I might do that if I ever decide to. But right now I have close to 400 teachers on my list. But I've sent this list to maybe half of the state, like 20 states, maybe at least. But I started with the neighboring states to Arkansas because I want them to be closer to visit. Texas is next door, it's just it's a next state. So anyway, a lot of them are ending up in Texas. Even some of the Arkansas teachers that were working here and could not get their licensure finished because they could not pass TOEFL, for example. Teacher of English as a foreign language, they could not pass it. They tried 2 or 3 times and they could not pass it. So they only have that limit. Like the school would not renew their contract unless they pass. So they have moved to Texas. I know of a couple that did that, and so they moved to Texas and got a job there because Texas does not require TOEFL. So some schools do not require it. So that's why Arkansas's requirement seems to be harder than others. They would have like science of reading requirement. They would have like Arkansas history requirement, but it's all online. So it's no big deal. You can pass it online, but the TOEFL is also online, but it's hard to pass because it's going to test you on your reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And they have a cutoff score. So luckily for this, like the West Memphis bunch, the ones that were supposed to be coming, they already passed their TOEFL. So all you have to do is show the paperwork if you're coming to Arkansas that I already passed it. So that's not a wasted thing. When they find another district in Arkansas, they don't have to redo that. That was already all they have to do is show that they passed it already. And so that's not, it's your FCE, your foreign credential evaluation. Have you already done that, Paulina? Where you send it to Spantran? Spantran.
Not yet, Doc.
Okay.
I haven't had my FCE yet.
Okay. If you get your FCE, that's something also that's going to be needed. Like that's really needed. So that's something you will not be wasting your money in. So I recommend you save money and then try to get that done because that's the first thing that most schools would actually see is your FCE. Okay. Yeah. So they know what kind of degree is the equivalent to yours in the US. I had to do that when I came to the US because I had 2 years and a half of college at University of San Jose at USJR. I was at USJR, but I was a political science major. I was not a teacher. So, but I got all my basics, a bunch of my basics were there. So I had like 88 credits already. And so that would only count to my basics for teaching because I completely switched degrees from political science to education, because I was not going to be a lawyer in a place where I do not even know the laws, and teaching has always been my number one love anyway, so I kind of went back to my first love type thing, that my first career love was teaching. And I'm so glad I did, because, oh my God, my husband was like, I could not see myself married to a lawyer. And I said, excuse me, you just like insulted all lawyers in the world. I have so many friends that are lawyers now, my classmates. But yeah, but I do make better money than them. Even the lawyers that were my friends that, graduated from San Jose and now are lawyers, I make a lot more money than them, because it's like times 10. Your money will be whatever you get now in the Philippines, you multiply it by 10, and that's what you get in Arkansas, for example. Yeah. So they get like 3 million, close to 3 million pesos for 9 months of work. Yeah. Yeah. So, but of course, they have spending dollars as well. But you can really save money too, because especially if you don't just blow it, you don't just shop, 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 shop. And a lot of teachers here would just go crazy on online, shopping with Amazon. So they would have like a lot of package every day. And that's when some of them would actually go into that, is like shopping addiction. So, so as long as you just save, you'll be fine, right? So, Paulina, are you excited about coming? How old are you? You don't mind me asking.
I'm 30 years old.
Are you? I thought you were still in your 20s. You look young. You have a family
Thanks,
also,
Doc.
husband. You have a husband and a kid.
None
Single.
so far, Doc.
Okay. Well, that make your life simpler. The problem is, if you have a boyfriend, you're gonna have to leave the boyfriend, because boyfriend cannot come unless you're married. So if you marry and then you have on a J1 visa, your husband will be on a J2 visa, just like Myrna and Joel was talking about earlier, and Rana. Of course, when Rana comes with Benevik later, she will be on a J2. And the advantage of actually a J2 visa versus an H4 will be the spouse, is the H4 visa, like Mike's wife, she could not work until Mike gets his green card. So Mike is now going to be waiting for a green card before the wife can work. While the J1 visa, you can actually work after maybe a month or two after you get your EAD, your employment authorization, document, EAD. So once they get that, then you can work. So it's faster for a J2 visa to a holder to work than an H4. So anyway, so that's just your one good thing. But the difference also in the limit is J1 visa is 5 years and H1B is 6 years. But the thing with the 6 years is that they could apply after maybe a year or so, they could apply for their green card, be sponsored by the school and have applied, and then they could be just permanent then. But J1 visa is not the same case. Yeah. So that's harder to switch visas from J1 to H1B. And, if you tell your J1 sponsors that, they will not even talk to you, because they don't want people to be thinking about, already switching visas, because their sponsorship is for cultural exchange, not to bring people here as a citizen someday. That's not their goal. Okay. All right. So any question for me? Do you have any question for me at all?
None so far, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I always send the link to these videos to my distribution list, folks. So if you did not get it, you need to email me. It's just McCullough@gmail. And also you can look and are you a member of our ITSA group in Facebook? Are you?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, how about the
Yes, Doc.
YouTube? YouTube, did you subscribe to us in YouTube? In
I
YouTube. Yeah, if you search ITSA, ITSA, and Merlina McCullough, you will see our channel, and I have more than 500 videos there. So yeah, and there are 80 Zoom videos. So you may want to check it out, especially before your interview, because I have some videos there that are specific for interviews. So that might be something that you want to check out. I know a bunch that have actually shared testimonial that's why they felt like they did a good job with their interview, because they were learning a lot from the Zoom. So that's nice to hear. But hopefully that is true to most of you, Okay, Paulina, good luck. And I hope you do keep in touch with me. The people that are attending the workshop here, or the Zoom here, and those that are always emailing me, I keep you are in my mind then. I know like for example, the Memphis 13 they're always the first ones that I would recommend because I know their paperwork is already complete. So they're the first ones when somebody call me, Marlena, I need these teachers. They are the first ones I think about. They attend quite a bit, especially Giselle. Giselle's nearly, if I think if I gave like a perfect attendance or near perfect attendance, I think Giselle would get it. She's always here. So in Mike, a lot of time when Mike cannot co-host with me because he's traveling, he likes to travel, then I asked Giselle to do it. And so anyway, yeah. So hopefully, Paulina, you'll be one of those that I would see in person, right? Because they come to my
Yes,
house
Doc.
usually. Yeah. They come to my
Yes,
house and
Doc.
we post
Looking
videos.
forward to that.
Yeah, that would be cool, right? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So how about Maria?
Manifesting, Doc. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Yeah. How about Maria Amelia? Do you want to talk to us? Maria Amelia.
Uh, Hi, Doc.
Hi, Silliman University. Have I talked to you before? You look familiar to me.
Yes, I
Yeah.
already introduced myself before, and
Okay.
I have already sent my resume and my cover letter to you.
Yes, yes, yeah. I recognize your last name. Yes, but of course, sometimes I don't recognize because I have so many of them. But yeah. So, have you had any interviews yet? Have you applied? Have you been proactive and applied?
Um, yes, Doc, actually, I have even signed at least 3 GOs already.
Mm,
But unfortunately, I was not able to make it with the visa sponsorship. It's
why?
because of the alignment of my uh,
Degree
I
and
am
experience,
teaching elementary. I teach
right?
in the elementary for 25 years now, but my license in the exam is secondary. So
That's
it's
hard.
always that they will not last and final last and final part of the application. I will not really make it for 4 times already.
Oh
The
no.
recent one is for North Chicago actually. The one that I told you last time.
Yeah.
So I'm working right now on, since I am a secondary, I have a secondary license and I'm teaching in the elementary. I was advised by one of our admin in our school here in Silliman to have my teaching experience in the elementary evaluated or evaluated by this program of CHED, which
Mm,
they called Expanded Tertiary Education Equivalency and Accreditation Program. So I am applying because they would consider my number of years of experience plus the number of units that I got that I took in the education, in which it was supposed to be a mix of secondary and elementary strategies actually.
okay.
So I'm applying for it. Hopefully, I can get a diploma very soon from CHED
Mm,
because they assured me of that because
okay.
of my 25 years of experience. They would consider me
Okay. Yeah,
for elementary already.
yeah, that is an option. You really, that's what my thing was gonna be like. Can you get your master's in elementary education? That way it matches. If you can just get that on a master's degree level. I don't know how easy it is in America. It's now so easy to get master's, specialist, doctorate because everything's online. Everything is 100% online. So even if you're teaching or full time, you can still do your work after hours because everything is online. I teach online. I teach masters and specialist levels, and my classes are all online. I never meet my students face to face. It's always online. So in America, that's how easy it has gotten for higher degrees. So I don't know how easy it is in the Philippines, but if you have an opportunity, if this shed thing do not work out, you may want to check out getting a master's degree to match your experience because that is the only
Actually,
thing.
Doctor, right now, currently I am pursuing a master's degree in special education.
That will
I
that will
am
cover it.
in, yeah, hopefully. Then
Mhm.
I already had my practicum in uh one of the schools here that has a special education program. So
Okay.
hopefully in the next trimester I will be having my what do you call this? Thesis writing.
Okay. Well, because there is a shortage of special ed teachers in America, you can actually apply now. Don't apply special ed, because in America, special ed is considered K-12. So your experience would be aligned, because special ed can be put in high school or elementary, because their license is usually a K-12 license. So that would be another option for you. Is you start applying, go to www.schoolspring.com. And I also have a link to the 50 states that I have, gotten, that you can go to the different states that you want to apply. There's special ed galore. Even though school has started already in some places, they're still looking for special ed. So if you have a master in special ed, you have a very good chance of getting hired. I had a school that called me, Merlina, we need 10 special ed teachers. I mean, this is how hard it is to get. I have people from Missouri that called me the other day. Joplin, Missouri called me and said, "Can you please recommend, some teachers in these different areas?" And that reminds me, I have not done that, so I need to do that. So they don't even want to get my whole list. They just want this particular area. So if they're asking for for special ed, that's all they want to hear. They don't want to just get, oh, there's a lot of people, Melina. Can you, then they go back and say, can you please tell us like specific people that you want us to contact, instead of just looking at your list. They want me to know people I know that I've talked to in a Zoom, in order for them to know that, oh, this is somebody that's good, because I have vetted it. And so I have vetted them. So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Doc Merlina, actually, I also applied for a license in the state of New Mexico.
okay.
Actually, I got a license already. It's level 2, based on my experience and my units in secondary and elementary education. They gave me a professional level 2, uh, pre-K to 12, with endorsements in language arts. Can I use that?
Yeah, you should be able to use that. Yeah. Yeah, you need to just talk to your J1 visa sponsor. Cultural vistas, it's Caroline Gillum. So it's I think, what was it? C Gillum, C for Caroline, and then Gillum, Gillam, at culturalvistas.org, I think is theirs. They're partners with me. So I'm partners with Cultural Vistas. So
Cultural vistas.
Ultra Vistas will be, she's very, very quick at responding. So you just mentioned my name, that I got your information from Dr. McCullough, and that she recommended me to contact you. And then when you email her, send her a resume and cover letter with it. And that way she has something to look at. That way she could add you to their pool. And so when they need somebody that would match your credentials and experience, she will contact you. And so they're very good at really finding schools that will not charge teachers much, if any at all. So they're very good at that. They've got their heart in the right place. And that's why I wanted to partner with them, because they're not after money. They're after the cultural exchange part of the program. They really want that learning of teachers from the Philippines learning about the US, and then vice versa. She is authentic with that. And that's why I'm really impressed with Caroline. So anyway, so yeah, if you can do that, contact her, because the more that you contact them and they know you, the better your chance of getting hired. Another person that I really like too is although he is Cultural Visas is an actual sponsor of J1. Like, you don't have to have another sponsor, no third party. But a third party agency that I normally do not recommend, but I recommend Glenn Galindo. So it's Glenn, Glen, I think, at Minga
Minga
House
dot, what's
dot
that?
org.
Minga
Yeah.
House.
Yes, Minga House. Have
Yeah.
you contacted him?
Yeah, I tried, Doc. I tried once,
Did he
but
answer you?
no, not
Okay.
wala, Doc.
This time, answer him. Call him. Contact him again. Drop my name. Say, Merlina, Dr. Merlina had recommended you, and he usually answers, because he and I had talked 2 or 3 times already. He even invited me to go to Colombia, to see their place there. They have a mansion there or something for their school, for the organization, and I wanted to see it. And so someday, And I said, Colombia is kind of dangerous, is it? She said, no, 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 now where we are, so they're in the coffee country. So I love coffee. So they're going to be in the place where there's a lot of coffee farming going on. And that's something I would be interested in. And they're also being involved with training teachers. And I'm interested in that. So I told them, yeah, we could be partners in some of these programs possibly. So that's a future collaboration, I hope. And I love Glenn. So those are the two, Caroline and Glenn would be the two that I really highly recommend. And I know they'll treat you right. Glenn has, he's non-profit. So he really doesn't, if he charges the teachers at all or the school, it might be like $500 compared to 6,000, like some people would charge. If some people out there, and one of them is a Filipino, and charging $5,000, $6,000. So I think 3,500 maybe the lowest that I saw. But anyway, but still, that's a lot different. That's like 7 times what Glenn would do, because 500 would be like more of a, like to help them with their nonprofit programs. It's almost like a donation. So I'm for that when it's a nonprofit and they're there for the teachers. They really want to look for schools that will not charge teachers a lot. Maybe charge a little, but this is something that you can pay the first month you get paid. So it's very doable. It's an investment to your future. Yeah. So
Yeah,
a
that's
bunch of
good to know, Doc.
yeah. So a
Yeah,
bunch of the
thank you for that
yeah.
information.
Well, a bunch of the teachers actually will not have the money, and they will maybe take money to, travel to Manila or whatever, but they borrow money. But a lot of times when you get your job, you get that paid within 3 months, 2, 3 months, you get it paid because you get paid 10 times. So yeah.
Yes, Doc. Mhm.
Yeah, and we are as Filipinos, we are so cheap to feed ourselves. We buy buwad, we buy dried fish, and we buy sardines, and they're cheap.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to have fancy things. The other day, I went down there to the Asian store and stopped by Jonesboro, and we bought like this. They call them bonito, which is like a baby tuna here. That's my favorite fish ever. And so we bought like 40 pounds, 20 kilos of it. And so I could not get that by myself. So I had to split with another person. So we split it. Like, okay, you take half, I get half. And so then I said, hey, can we get so many percent because we're buying the box? So he gave me 20%. So I'm like, okay. So you could make a deal if you buy a bunch. So I would buy it in boxes. Yeah. So anyway, so there's a lot of things that you can save once you get here. But the thing is, they have so many, especially in Arkansas, they have so many support. Like they're so good at supporting each other. People would always say, you know what, you're helping me. What can I do to help, to give back? And I said, what I want you to do is help somebody. Don't pay me, but I want you to pay it through helping somebody else. Pay it forward. So that's all I
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Actually my problem, Doc, is the visa sponsorship, because the first one that I got rejected was Green Heart. The
Mm,
second one is Teachers Council,
mm.
and Jack also. It's because really of the alignment of my experience
And they you
as
send
a
them that
teacher.
SEC, you send them the FAC or the FCE, you send them the FCE.
Yes, yes, Doc.
So you really need to get the special ed finished. Just get the special ed because that's a K-12 thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that might be your one of the best options you have. Is like that.
Yeah, I know now where I'm supposed to be, working on, because for 4 times now, I really did not make it. So I know now what's the cause.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
the
the reason.
misalignment is a big one, and I keep saying that to everyone that try to see that you have an alignment. You don't have an alignment issue, because if you do, then they try to avoid you, because that's the very first, seems like the first step that the visa sponsors do. Just because if they don't check that first, they could go there, and then by the time you go to your embassy's interview, and then you get denied because of the misalignment. And that's why the visa sponsors trying to avoid that part. So they actually will check your alignment first. In fact, one of the few Zooms that we have with, third-party agencies, for example, with the West Memphis bunch, was an alignment call. Like, okay, you align, you don't align, all that. So they actually would check that. They very strict about that. So yeah, good point to make there. Okay. So I'm so glad that you're doing something about that. Do you go with Maria
Yeah,
or
I'm
Maria?
working on it, though.
Yeah, good, and good luck. Now, what is Silliman
Yeah,
University? Is that where are you teaching college there too, or is that where you graduated?
uh, I graduated from Silliman University. I'm a true blue Sillimanian. And
A nice
yeah,
university. Yeah.
so
Very good reputation. Yeah. So, so anyway, all right. Mine is Arkansas State University, ASU. It's so funny because ASU here is also Arizona State University. So when I say ASU, they thought, "Oh, you mean Arizona?" I said, "No, it's Arkansas. It's also A, but it's both of them are ASU, but they're two different. They have two different mascot. So I think one is something with a sun, and ours is Red Wolf. So Red Wolves, we actually were Indians, but in America it became a not a PC, not politically correct to say Indians. So they would say Native American, and a bunch of the schools that were using Indians or Native Americans, they could no longer use it. So we used to be ASU Indians, and now we're ASU Red Wolves. So they changed it to
correct.
Red Wolves. They actually had a contest and see that everybody will send in some input ideas on what is the new mascot, and the Red Wolf won. So different people had sent different ideas, and Red Wolf won. So yeah, we're the Red Wolves now. But my out in Arkansas, the main one from the University of Arkansas is a Razorback, and my husband is a very big Razorback fan because he and the kids graduated there. So we have a divided house. We have a Razorback house
Okay.
and then Red Wolves house. But we go to Razorback games a lot because when our kids were going to college, they played for the band, the Razorback band. And so we have to go there to support them. And so I have seen so many Razorback games. I have not been to a Red Wolves game at all. I keep getting invited to come, but it's about 2 hours from me, and nobody will go with me because all of my family members are all from Razorback country. As a result, I'm always going to the Razorback game, which I love. Is a really big place. Expensive though. Like if you buy a ticket, and if you buy a ticket like less than $100, that's we call them a what was it? Like a really far away. You have to have your little little glasses. What do you call it? Binoculars in order to
Binoculars.
see. So you're in the what something eyesores. Anyway, something very very far away. So I like to buy the ones by the middle and by the front, not the very front, but right there in the middle. And so that's like $100, usually $150 per person. But to me, I'm like, I don't go every time. I go when I want to. So I would justify the cost because I don't want to be out there really far, far, far away. I may as well stay home and watch it on TV, right? But for you to have the
Yeah.
experience, it is worth, it is worth spending that money. It's so funny because the very first part that I used to go to Razorback, I would go over there and sneak in and go to the better part. You're not supposed to do that. As Filipinos, like, okay, I see this part there, that's better. And they said, but there's people watching, and they said, no, 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 ma'am, you cannot go there. And then the really best part to go is when you are with a corporation, like some of my friends here work for some corporation that have a box. And they have their little box there with, there's like a little party box there. They like a room there with a glass window, and they have their big party. And they have their, the wine, beer, whatever, and then all their snacks, hors d'oeuvre stuff, and they're sponsored by the company. So that's the best part is when you are being invited by a company, they really go all out, and you get to watch. You have the best view, you have the best food, and the company. Yeah. So anyway, so someday when you end up with whatever state you're going to end up with, I would recommend you attending any of their bowl game stuff. We went to a
Sure.
baseball, yeah,
Sure.
we went to a baseball
That
game in Chicago. You mentioned Chicago, and the Wrigley game. That's something that everybody had heard about Wrigley, Wrigley Field. So we went there. That's one of the things when I took teachers to Chicago, that's on their list. Like, oh, okay, we have Dr. McCullough, we have to go to this, Wrigley Field, and so we had to check that off. And so when you go to these places, they food is so expensive. Like the hot dog that's normally you could buy like for $2, it will be $10 there with times four, times five. So you have to be ready to
really.
spend, yeah, you have to spend extra money because they are every time you turn around, somebody's selling something, popcorn, hot dog, all this. So you just have to bring money when you go to those places. Just like when you go to Disney World, Disneyland, it costs a lot of money per person. Yeah. But
I have a
anyways,
question, Doc.
uh-huh.
I have a question. I have a question. Um, I never missed an interview actually with your help, what I have learned from you in these Zoom meetings. I never missed an interview. I always
Got an
end up
offer?
one of the yeah one yeah right away. I would receive an offer right away.
Wow.
Yeah, because one of the latest interview that I had with I mean I had an interview with the superintendent of Colorado and the HR. I was so really very excited because I thought I'm gonna make it now because the superintendent was very excited probably with my answers. He said, how soon can you start? When are you going to fly? How long can you stay with us? So they were already asking me with that kind of questions. So I think I thought to myself now, oh, I will really get hired now by this time. But only to find out that when I submit my credentials, documents to the visa sponsor, a visa sponsor would really turn me down.
Mm.
So
Well,
no matter
H-1B,
how,
yeah, H-1B though may be your better option then because H-1B visa is sponsored by the school. You do not have to deal with sponsors. Your sponsor will be the school. And the nice thing about H-1B, if you can find a school that would be willing to pay for it, they pay 100%. It costs you nothing. Everything related to visa had to be paid by the school. That's in the paperwork. It has to be paid by the sponsor. And so that's why not very many people would sponsor because that's cost them a lot of money from the visa fees to your expense going here, the ticket. So anything relating to that is gonna be paid by the school. So that's maybe one of the other options you have is to get, if the school really likes you and want to hire you and get that H-1B visa, that push for that. And then if they need help because they've never done it, give them a name and say Dr. McCullough can help you, and she won't charge you unless to ask her to come in person and be observing me. But if it's just Zoom or calling me, texting me, I don't charge for that. So yeah, feel free to give my information to them. Now, what kind of Zoom info did you use that were powerful enough to get you offered a job already? Like, what were the things? Give me some examples of the things that you have used in your interview that you thought, you know,
uh,
did it for you.
the questions,
Uh-huh.
Doc. One of the latest that I had was they asked me about what makes a successful teacher.
How did you answer
So
that?
I use the five propositions that you yeah, I use that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And you
use
mentioned the five core propositions of National Board. I mentioned that. You
Yeah, they
mentioned.
were very much impressed. Oh, they were really nodding their heads and they were so impressed with my answer. So thanks to you, Dr. Medina.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, for those that do not know the five core national board proposition, that is power. It's magic, isn't it? Because you are talking about the knowledge of students, the knowledge of content, assessment, reflection, and collaboration. So you get those five pieces and you elaborate on it using your own example. That's impressive because it is a national board. That means it's not just a regular board exam thing, it's an extra one. It's like the cream of the crop thing is what it is with national board. Like there's only in Arkansas, there's only maybe at one time 3%. Now we up to 10% maybe are national board certified teachers. My sister and I were two of the original ones that got it. And so when we were taking it, only one out of four people would pass it the first year, 25% passing. We passed it the first year. So I felt like, the things we learned from it were able to help others because we became like presenters all over the state, all over the United States. We worked for National Board. And so we were helping them recruit teachers. And so we were called the dream team. My sister and I were the dream team. And so we were like going over there and they paid for our expenses. We went to, North Carolina. We went to, I went to Miami and all this. So they were sending me to all these places. And that's how I know about the five core proposition, how it's power, because that's what I was teaching folks. And so even if they do not want to go to national board certification itself, but they can use it on their regular teaching, right? Every
yes,
educator can
yes,
use
yes.
it, right? Because you have to, yeah.
Most of their questions actually were really taken up here in your Zoom meetings. Yeah, most of their questions,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
questions that they raised during the interview, most of them really, we have already taken up in your Zoom
In a Zoom.
meetings, and we
Yeah, and
learn a
yeah.
lot from
Well,
you.
thank you. Oh, that's a really great testimonial from you. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate you because it's always good to have a feedback like that because you want to know what you need to continue to teach as a teacher, as an educator. I would like to know what works, what does not work, and I know National Board 5 core proposition work. If you just have that checklist in your head, always start with, yeah, it's a positive, relationship with students, your knowledge of students, your knowledge of content, which is your strategies, being interactive, being engaging. And of course, when you get to the assessment, it's like using data in order to make curriculum decisions. Using
Yeah,
data.
that also came
Yeah.
out, Doc. That also came out in the interview.
Yeah, using data in order to be informed about it, and having the data before you even have the kids to know their cum, the cumulative records in the profiling in the Philippines, but the cum, if looking at that and seeing the history of this child, the history of their education, the history of their families, that's information, that's data that you have already. That's qualitative data or quantitative data that you have before you even have the kids. I do that. Before I had the kids, I know about them already. Before I even met them, because we always had our list like the where I was teaching, we got the list like at the end of the year. We get our next year's list. So I already did my research before the school had ended for the year before. I already did my research. I already have a notebook ready with the kids' information on it, and I already have a copy, a folder, a binder with their data results. So I already have that, and I'm a data geek, so I was already doing some Excel thing and analyzing data and seeing what might be something that I need to emphasize based on the data that my kids have. So I was that geeky that I did like an item by item analysis of seeing what standards were low for my kids and what were they strong on. So I knew that coming in when I got my group of kids, I know, for example, that these kids were really low on comprehension. Reading comprehension was a really problem for them when they took their test. So this year, I'm going to really focus on reading comprehension. We need to do a lot of reading, and I need to ask them questions. I need to make sure they critically think and really get deeper into a story instead of just saying who or what. I would say, why do you think that? Okay. So how would so the how and the why questions I really use a lot because that helps in their comprehension to make it deeper understanding instead of like, recall questions. Because recall questions are a very low level one, right? As you know. And then, of course, the
Yeah.
reflection piece for you as a reflective teacher to reflect on like, what did I do right? What did I do? What could I have done differently, right? Because when I became an administrator for 5 years, I had to drive for 45 minutes one way, so about an hour and a half. And that's my reflection time. I actually would reflect. I'm like, okay, since I was administrator working with 6 different schools, I would think about, okay, so when I talked to this principal, this is what I said, this is what she said. Why did she say this? Why did how I should have answered it this way? So things like that. And I would come home and I would email them or whatever. It's like, hey, I forgot to tell you this. This is something I should have told you, because I reflected. This I think, why was this teacher frowning? What was this principal frowning about when I said this? Was this something that I should not have said? I would analyze things like that because as a reflective teacher, a reflective person, that helps you. My husband, when I went to the national board in 2001, I would say things to my husband like, you did this, so you mean this? And my husband said, if I meant that, I would say that to you. Why are you why are you analyzing my actions and making up something? Because I was analyzing everything to death because that's what we did when we went to the national board. We reflected on everything, every piece, so it became as part of your life. Like, well, you did this because you raised your voice, because you would lower your voice, because I would I felt like I became a horrible wife because I would give meaning to everything that sometimes it might not be the right meaning, and when you apply it to your relationship, like my husband, he was like, Merlina, if I tell you, I'll tell you. So anyway, but there's always, I'm telling you, 70% of our communication is nonverbal. And if we are raised
Yeah.
in poverty, like I was, raised in poverty, you are better at reading people because that's what, for some reason, we are better. Like if poor folks, we are better at really reading these things, the nonverbal for some reason. But that's a given. I don't know if I read somewhere that that's a given. So anyway, yeah. I guess the rich folks, they just do not observe this much. I don't know. And of course, the last piece is collaboration. So having that collaboration piece is with the special ed teacher, for example, if you have 2 or 3 special ed, I already talked to the special ed teacher. I said, okay, what did this child do last year? Like one year I had like a Down syndrome child, and so the year before I would say, hey, Miss Patty, so this is you had Channing, so what can I do? And so then I got to finding out I was teaching 4th grade, but this child was only in kindergarten learning level. And so I had to like look for materials that I know I need to start her with. And then I want to take her to there. So if she was only doing the sounds, right then, I need to take her better from there. But I have to start where she was, So that's why the collaboration piece is important. Of course, collaboration with parents too, So yeah, thank you so much for saying that you did learn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much, Doc.
Oh, thank you. Hey, are you
Doc,
part of my Facebook group or my YouTube? I hope you have a
Yeah,
subscribe
I
to
think
YouTube.
yeah, I think so already. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did.
Good. Yeah, subscribe to YouTube because I'm trying to get to 1,000 on YouTube. I have already in my educators supporting each other. I have 5,800 members, and I think we have 3 something in ITSA, but in YouTube I only have 300 something. So I was thinking if some of us that are here or was getting the video, I wish that you subscribe because I need to be 1,000 in order to get some other things that we have to do on the next level. So, but 300 is not bad because I just did it. I just opened it a year or 2 ago. So yeah, but I
I'll
posted
check again,
everything.
Doc.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll check it again.
Oh, good. I posted every Zoom that they've ever had. And I should have like edited it, but I was thinking, I'm not going to edit it. They can just like, fast forward it if they want to. It's just a lot of work to do editing. And I don't know what to take out, So I just watch it as we go, that I try not to be in politically correct there and how to cut it out. So be authentic. And I guess like you, being an authentic in your authentic self. Be yourself. You're not gonna be like a two-faced person. What you see with me is what you get. And I think hopefully people would say that when they met me, that I'm just a simple educator and this is just me. I'm not gonna put on airs saying that I'm a different person because I'm not. That's why I keep saying one thing I learned from my doctorate degree is that I'm not as smart as I thought I was. It's humbling. It is humbling because you find out that there's so many things out there in the world you do not know. And when before I got my higher education, I felt like, oh yeah, I know this, I know that, whatever. I felt like I was more confident in that. But then when you get deeper into research and seeing that, oh my gosh, this is just the surface. I need to get deeper and, the depth of my knowledge need to be there instead of just the little surface knowledge I know. So that's why doing Zoom with you guys, I felt like I'm learning too. Like I'm learning a lot from you. I'm learning what works for you in interview and so on. And I can tell you're proud of Suleiman having that as a background. That's a good thing. And Mike is very good at doing background, those background, wallpaper thing. Mike, you quit using that, I guess, because he's traveling. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah. So
Thank you,
Giselle,
Doc. Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
The,
Yeah,
yes.
I
Thank
already.
you
Doc,
so much.
Yeah, we need to
yeah.
be able to leave. Mike, where are you? Where are you traveling
Uh,
at?
I'm
Doc,
here in Walt Chase for my car service. Doc, I just want to inform you that Ma'am Glory is here,
yes.
one of our it's members who just arrived here in the USA.
Oh my gosh, is she on Zoom with us?
Yes po, yes po.
Okay,
Hey,
I
Ma'am
want to.
Glory.
Yeah, Glory Faye. Did you go to see her? Is that what you're doing?
Hello, Doc.
You
Naku,
Good morning.
painted. Oh my God. Hey, Asa, where are you teaching at?
I'm teaching in Aldine Independent School District. I am assigned to teach in the 9th grade school.
Yeah,
Doc, I have so much ESL students, and
yeah.
I mean to call you so that I can ask you how am I going to do it on the first day. I only have regular 5 students, and the rest of them are all Hispanic.
It's fine. You know more. Our language in the Philippines is 80% Spanish. Cuchara,
Mm-hmm.
tenedor, la mesa, all that are Spanish. Go to
Mm-hmm.
duolingo.com.
What was it, Doc?
Duolingo.com. That's a free one. Duolingo,
Oh.
lingo.com. That is
Mm-hmm.
something you could learn Spanish, basic ones,
Mm-hmm.
and then you learn about. Now I'm in paragraphs. Now I'm actually on higher level now where I could actually read paragraphs in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, you get there. And then that Babbel.com is another one, Babel.com. Those are conversational Spanish. So they say that if you do 2 weeks of it, you'll be conversational. You know, the CIA agent and all those agents going to Spanish countries, that's what they use. It's either Babbel or Duolingo. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Doc.
And hey, Google Translate. Google Translate is another one. You use the
Mm-hmm.
Google app for translate,
Mm-hmm.
use that. Because that's
Yeah,
something, yeah. Google
because
Translate.
listening to you a while ago, that you were telling me about the binder and the data, we have that one here. They
Mhm,
let us really analyze the data from our STAR exam last year, the
mhm.
English, the math, and then the science, and we found out that for the STAR exam in English, 50% of the students only passed.
There you
And
go. That's low.
in
Low.
terms of reading, they're very low.
Mhm.
And but in biology, I am teaching biology now. I will be teaching biology. Their numbers are quite high, but in terms of conversational, in terms of how do we communicate with the students, I think I really have to exert an effort on that so that I can really relay my content to them and
Yeah.
my strategies and my
Go to
activities.
Google Translate, and what you'll find too is you will have some kids there that may have been born here that will be
Mm-hmm.
more fluent. So another strategy that you could do is pair them up with someone
Okay.
a little bit more fluent. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can find out, have some activities the beginning of the year to get
Mm-hmm.
to know them. Like how long have they been in the country? You know, like what's your native? Like you can share about you from the Philippines. How about you guys? Where were you? I was born in the Philippines. I just came here, whatever. How about you guys to share this and make a little questionnaire survey, and have them to fill it out and to share it. I think there's some apps there too, some AI tools that you can use that would translate. Email me and I will send you some tools, some of the apps that would translate for you. There's some
Yes.
apps there that would translate your slides into Spanish, for example. Yeah.
What?
It's an AI tool. Yeah, it's an AI tool and it will just do it in Spanish for you. So you can give them those as like a PowerPoint notes, in a slide where in a one page you can put 3 or 4 of them. They can take
Mhm.
notes, but in Spanish. But the AI would do it for you. You don't have to do it. It will do it for you. So I think I don't know if Gamma that app might do it. I don't know. Gamma that app is my favorite slide. Yeah, GAMMA that app app. I use it a lot. In fact, the last workshop this last week that I did at my school, I did AI tools and in writing. I use Gamma app. So I did a chat GPT, right? So you put the
Mhm.
chat GPT. Chat GPT might even do it. Chat GPT, you Google
Yeah.
Chat GPT and you go to Open AI and then
Mhm.
type in the thing that says translate the following to Spanish. And I think
Mhm.
it will. It will. And then so after you translate it, then you copy and paste it to Gamma, that app, and you say create a slide using this information. And then you click you post the you copy and paste your information from the chat GPT and it will make a slide for you. It's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh.
but we did that in our workshop. I had them to do an autobiography. So they have to write their out about themselves in order to share with students. And Mike did a good job. Anyway, so I did that with them. That's what you
Mhm.
always do. When you assign something to students to write, you need to be writing too. And you need to
Mhm.
model that. So that's what I did with them. I said, I'm using ChatGPT, but I have to put the content in there. So I have to put my name, my whatever, I put my husband and I put the information there. But
Mhm.
then the chat GPT, the AI, the artificial intelligence, put it together for me, making me sound so
Mhm.
intelligent. And then after that, you edit it, make sure that, it's something that you really what you meant. So after you
Mhm.
edit it, then I did the Gamma that app, and then it create for me some slides in categories, family and all this. It made it into categories with images, really fancy. It's
Yeah.
really, it's a free app. Gamma
Mhm.
that app.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a free one.
Gonna.
You play with it, and then if you have any questions, just email me and I will answer it because that's something that's really new for me. I'm loving,
Mhm.
loving, loving these AI tools because when the superintendent asked me to do a presentation on it, I have never
Mhm.
done one, but I've
Mhm.
always used them. I've always
Mhm.
used things, but so like gamification is a good one. Doing
Mhm.
games
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your quizzes.com, your bookit.com, your
Mhm.
jeopardylabs.com. You can make games and you can make your content in biology. A lot of times there's already the content there and you just have to edit it or use it as it is. Jeopardylabs.com will be something that you may want to, yeah, because Jeopardy Labs, some of the schools are teachers are actually making Jeopardy questions, Jeopardy game questions about themselves. And the students have to guess, like what is, so you
Oh,
can,
I forgot. Can I
yeah.
just do this one on my first day on Monday?
Yeah, you
The
can do that. Make up a Jeopardy question about yourself, and then
okay.
teach them how. If in high school, you teach them how to make one, and then they can make one for themselves. Have them to work as
Mm.
a team or a pair, and then they have to present something about them, and show them.
Yay.
Yeah, show them the step, but always model it. This is the product. This is what my product would be, but this is the process I used. In that way. And if you have what I do and it's something new, I always have like a step-by-step thing that I have typed so that they can follow when I was showing them. They have a thing they could check off that they do first, next, whatever. So the task sheet, I call them the task card. Task sheet, something that you want to do if it's the first time that they're using a skill. And then you just give it to the partner, to the team, and they follow that. But you have showed it to them in, and on hands-on. You have showed them that, but they won't remember all the steps because remember our brain can only handle, 4 to 5, maybe 3 to 4 chunks at a time. So they might not remember all the steps. So if you wrote it down, then that's something that you could have a little sheet, and they follow that and they create one, and then make sure that they're creative about it, And so yeah, so you can yeah.
I
A
have
lot of
I
schools
am
are.
really freaking out on the first day and what are the activities I'm going to
Yeah,
do.
there's a
But I have
bingo. Yeah, there's a bingo card you can
things
make.
first is
Yeah,
much more interactive and I think they
yeah.
will be
They would love you. They would really
yeah.
love you. That's a fun classroom, Yeah. If you email me, I need to, I guess when I send the recording of this Zoom, I'll just send an email of all the AI tools that I've presented in my thing that last week. And you have, oh my gosh, all kinds of things. I created maybe more than 20 PowerPoints within an hour. That's how
Wow.
fast. Yeah, because I would be,
That
I
was
was doing, I was like
the
writing tools and tips for writing. And so I would have the idea in my head and I would go to Gamma, that app, and I would say, create a presentation using these ideas. And then I would write it down and I'm like, okay, so, and then when I did something that I said, sample writing of students. So create a sample writing for fourth grade students, low, average, and high, and then use this rubric to grade it. And so then I copy and pasted the rubric that the state uses for the test, and it did like informative and narrative and persuasive essays. And so I put it down there, and it just boom, it just like that. It just created some for me, and then it graded it. It graded.
wow.
That is so cool. Yeah, that is so cool. It's gonna be at the 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's gonna tell you a 2. It gives you a reason why it is a 2, why it's a 3. So as a teacher, you will that will be a good guide for you, so that you will teach your students. So find out the rubric that they use for their state test for science, and then use that as part of your teaching.
I think
So
I have it already. Give it
they
to me.
should, they should, they should, but I
I'll
know
give
in literacy they do. Literacy, of course, I'm literacy specialist, so I know
yeah.
about literacy. So they also have a blueprint. A blueprint coming from your Department of Education is a blueprint for the test. So there's a blueprint for literacy, a blueprint for math, and a blueprint for
Okay,
science. Yeah, and the
blueprint.
blueprints are the skills that will be tested. And the blueprint in Arkansas, for example, we give you like there's this standards, 30% of the test will be in these standards, another 30% will be in these standards, and this how many items will so they have a blueprint for the student, for the teachers to know what standards should be covered before the testing time, which is in April. So it kind of helps the student, it helps the teachers have a idea of their curriculum, planning and seeing that, oh, I need to have everything covered by then so that my students will do well, because those are the standards that will be tested. So yeah, so those are the power standards. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
excited for you.
much.
You
I
have to.
haven't told you yet because I'm overwhelmed. I did cry last time because
Oh,
I'm homesick and at the same time I'm overwhelmed with all the informations they're giving me. But of
oh,
course, we have to really do our job well. So I am reviewing everything. So I'm reviewing my strategies. I'm reviewing the strategies that you've taught me
uh-huh.
when you attending Zooms and incorporating it in my first day. But I think I'll also have to add the one that you tell me
Mhm.
now that I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that one works better for my ESL students because there's I have a lot, Doc.
Yeah, you do.
Majority of them.
Yeah, just do that. Translate it. I'm telling you, Chat GPT should be your friend. Chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT is the most popular app out there, and it was developed by Microsoft people, and they're very friendly with Google Docs. So what I do is I do a Chat GPT, and their answer I'll copy and paste it into a document, and then that way I'll save it in that. So I have folders for folders for folders of things I have done Chat GPT that I could use.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, in literacy, um, looking at the blueprint, and for example, if like 8.1 standard or whatever in fiction or nonfiction, then I would write. I did like the different question, at least two questions per standard, and I made it into a pretest. So if you have 5 standards and you do 2 questions apiece, that's 10 questions that you give the first of the year, and then you're gonna ask the same standards and see how they're doing. So it's like a little pretest you could make through Chat GPT.
Okay,
Chat
okay.
GPT, yeah.
I'll make that one when I arrive at home.
Yeah. And what you can do is with your standards, you have to make sure you have access to your standards. You can say to ChatGPT, create a question, or create a question using this standard, and you copy and paste that standard in whatever grade it is, in 8th grade level. And you can say, I need 8 multiple choice questions and include the answer key at the end. Now you don't have to, it's already done. In mine, and you can even ask for an open response question. So you can you can include 2 open response questions and sample answers. That way you'll know how the computer would answer it, and that will give you an idea. And so that's what I do that a lot. Like I would say, you create a paired text. That means a story, 2 stories, but different sources. And then so create a paired text using this topic. So I even can give a topic if you have a topic that would be aligned to your lesson. So create a paired text with 8 multiple choice questions and 2 open response questions, and write the answers at the end, including sample answers of the essays. Like this. Oh my gosh, boom, 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 just like that. It's just like, it's just, the moment you say enter, you hit that enter button, the answers from that robot will just like go there. It's so impressive that within seconds you got it. Yeah. So I want you to
I'm
do
visualizing
that.
everything, Doc, and I think it will make my life easier.
It will be, oh my goodness. I always say, don't be, some of us are snobbish. We snob the AI. They think that, we're cheating when we use it. No, it makes your work smarter, not harder. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
hey,
correct.
when you get so homesick, I want you to see if you could come over and fly here, and I'll
Oh,
be glad to meet you at the airport, and you can spend a weekend with me, or, and then I'll take you to the other Filipino homes. You'd like it a lot.
yeah,
Just
Doc.
plan with me.
See what happened now. What's happening with me now? I'm overwhelmed with information. My emotions are not stable. So, and my family is not with me. I'm alone. So, I'm glad
Yeah.
I talked now.
Yeah,
I'm
just
just
get busy, and then that way you'll forget, but you'll realize that the paperwork in the US is like way less than the Philippines, because everything is digital here. So once
yes.
you train with the digital, world there, they called it like e-school. Like that's what the platform they use. So everything is on e-school, your attendance, everything. And so once you learn that, that's gonna make your life so much easier. And then there's lesson planning tool, the Brisk. You go to Brisk Teaching, the Brisk, and you go down there and you try their tools. There's 30 plus tools, and you can tell it like, do a lesson plan, for this particular one for 45 minutes, and boom, 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 it gives you this plan, and it even gives you questions and so on. So you just give it the standards that you have. Yeah. Brisk Teaching is another one that you could really use. It's free.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doc, I
Yes.
remember that, the face of the Brinkley teachers when you shared that. What? They were really surprised.
Yeah, because they see how the computer was so fast, Mike, right? And they've
Yes,
never
po,
seen
yeah.
it. They were like, I
Yeah.
just typed this prompt, and boom, right there in front of them in the big screen, it showed them how fast the answers were. And I
Yeah.
noticed that a bunch of them were getting their computers and were playing with And some of the coaches later, there were some coaches that, at first you were looking at them like they're so relaxed, they're not even going to be interested in the topic. But once they've seen that, they were like, oh, let me try that. And so, yeah. And so when I did the second workshop, which is about writing, the first workshop was about AI tools. And so the 2 days later, I did a workshop on writing, and I told them, hey, it's okay if you use Chat GPT. I'm okay with that, because I want you to practice with it. And they used it. Mike, didn't they use it, Mike? Yeah, and Mike was the first one there that used it. I said, Mike.
uh, we're grateful of that. According to our principal, we don't have a plan this week or 1 week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
po.
Just to know to your students, right? Just get to know your kids. Is that what she's saying?
Yes, po.
Yeah.
Just to know students, schedule. And I'm so glad also that according to them, I will be having only six, but they said that one of my students dropped already, so it will be five. But during the open house, I got only three, so hopefully
An
it will
easy life,
become.
Mike. Do you have any paraprofessional with you or just you?
Yes, po, yes, I have one.
So, Mike, you're gonna be you died and went to heaven, Mike. Yeah,
Yes,
your life
po.
will be easier there because it's a smaller school and you have the
Mm.
best principal. I know her really well.
Yes,
It's my
this is
4th year of getting to work with her because she was the instructional facilitator at the high school. And so I really know Miss Moore. And so she said, when I come, I want you to come see me. So I said, yeah, I will because Mike is there. I'm going to check on Mike because, you're elementary. You're the only one elementary, right? And the other 5 are in high school.
no po. Miss Shireen. Shireen,
Shireen was moved down to elementary. I forgot about that.
sixth
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah, so she is 6th grade. Okay. Well, then I check on both of you because Shireen though, they have a math consultant. They do
Yes,
have a
po.
math
Yes, po.
consultant. But I
Mm-hmm.
still check on her because I check on all the Filipino teachers. So I told the math consultant, Mr. Marcus, I said, "Hi, Marcus. I don't want to step on your toes, but I will be checking on them because they're all my international teachers. And that's what my purpose is, to support them. So I may not be content specific with her because that's his job, is to be content specific, but I do watch her teaching and strategies. And I do say, hey, Shireen, you might want to try to be more whatever. She's really good anyway. She's very good at giving feedback to students and all that. So, just little things I would recommend to her. But I think one of the really big strengths of the teachers in Brinkley is that you're so good, and I think you'll be included in there too, Mike. You're so good at listening to suggestions. And by the time I come back, I see that it's been done. It impresses me that Maria, of course, Maria was my very first teacher I brought here, right? So she was like my baby, my first baby. So I was over there and I would say to Maria, can you do this for me? Because you need to put an agenda because the kids need to know what you're going to be doing for that period. So you put your agenda, first one bell ringer, and then this one, whatever content you're going to do, and then your, whatever activity that you have, put it there in bullets so that the kids, when they come in your classroom, they know exactly what to expect. And that's called safety. They feel safe in your room because you're not going to have any surprises. You're going to be having it very transparent. When they come in, these are the activities that we are doing today. So when you're done with this, and then, and that's one of the things that you should do when they are finished early. So you're early finishers, you need to have a backup plan. So if you're finished with this, you can do this, something fun, but still relating to your topic. But, I did a lot of, you create a music or you create a rap or you create something that you can present about this topic, because they're done with that regular thing I asked them. So then they do creative thing, or you draw. If I know that kid is very artistic, I want you to draw something that you could share with the group that relates to our topic. Just come up with something. So you are doing critical thinking skills, but it's fun for them because that's what they like. And then since, I was showing in the room that if you have a learning station, like a little station in the room, I always had a publishing center. And that is where I put like where they could write things or create things, literacy stuff. And then I would put a lot of really cute papers there, stationery stuff. And I put like pens, pencils, gel pens, different colors. I would put all kinds of things there that would encourage them to write. And then I have a clipboard there. And then of course your author's chair is something that you could use to share stuff. And I always told the kids this beginning of the year that in this classroom we're sharing. Sharing is caring. So if you are creating something and you're so proud of it, and you just ask me, and I will tell the class that, hey, everybody, I know you're working on this, but I want you to multitask. While you're working on this, I want you to listen also to so-and-so's rap or to so-and-so's, poem, whatever it was. And so they always, give comments, and we give a clap to it, and boom, we move on to, we still continue to work on other stuff. But they know that if they're early finishers, they have a comfortable place there in the corner of my room or, somewhere in my room, that they are in bean bags, they are in little, couch or something, because it's comfy out of their seat, and they get to do creative things. So it really encourages them to like get done. and do a good job with it, because then I can go to the learning station where I can do creative things. I even have a chess center there where, because I was a chess coach, so I have a two sets of chess going on all the time. And so the rule was, if you're playing with somebody, put your sticky note there, who it is. And then, so if you're going to be taking that and using it, you better take a picture of it and save it, so that when you put it together, it's ready for those people, you know. So and then we have this math cube stuff that they could build things, cities or whatever. Same story, you know, take a picture of it, and that way they'll, you know, they have a souvenir of what it looked like, instead of you just breaking it. And that's a part of respect thing too. You respect that these people work so hard to put this together, so you do not just break it without asking that person. That's why the sticky note or a little index card with their names on it, those are the people that are in the middle of a game or in the middle of a building something or whatever. You know, science center, at a science center, where we had a class pet, and a class pet was named by them, and they have a clipboard there, and then they have to talk to they have to write something to the spider, to the whatever pet we have, and that is a writing thing, you know, or how to take care of it. They can put down there a table there, what they did there. They could say, I fed it, I did this, whatever. And so it's still another writing, but it's an authentic writing, because it's actually like you're a caretaker of this animal, and this is what you did. Yeah. So anyway, so things like that. Glory Faye, if you do something like that, I think you would make it fun for the kids. And I think lots of team building things, if you just Google first of the year engaging activities or introduction activities. I have done one where I have them to give them like those paper clips, and I tell them, I want you to choose between 2 to 5 or 3 to 5 paper clips. It's up to you, whatever you. I didn't tell them why. And so some of them would like, oh, they want to put 5 because they can connect them, whatever. But then I tell them, how many paper clips you picked up is how many things you have to say about yourself. Can I return some? Nope, you cannot return them. And so anyway, but you'd have to say 5 things about them, you know, although 3 things about them, something special that people did not know about you, you know, something. And then another one is, and I think Jana Cubio did this, and I watch her do this. It's a two truths and a lie. So you have these 3 bullets about you, and then about the teacher, because you're introducing yourself. And then, so for example, for me, I would say like, I was hit by a coconut when I was a child. I have been to Africa, and I'm very good at horseback riding. So you have to pick which one is a lie. So Mike, which one is a lie? Mike or Giselle? Giselle, what would be a lie of those 3 things? I've been to Africa, I've been hit by a coconut, or I have been what's the third one that I said?
Horseback.
Huh?
Horseback riding.
Yeah,
You
I'm
ride
good
in a
at
horse.
horseback riding. Yeah. Which one is it that I that's a lie? Two are true and one is a lie.
Either it's the coconut and the
Pick
horse,
one.
because
Nope. Pick one,
I
Mike.
think it's the coconut because there's no coconut in Africa.
No, Mike. I was hit by a coconut in the Philippines when I was playing marbles under the coconut tree. And as the coconut fell down and hit my leg, I have a big scar to prove it.
No, in Africa though.
No, I said I have been to Africa. That's one.
Okay.
And I got hit. With a coconut, not in Africa. I just said I got
Okay.
hit with a coconut. And then the third one is I'm not good at horseback riding. That was only my second time. I'm not good at it at all. So yeah, I thought it would be obvious to you because you were there back riding with us. But anyway, yeah, the third one was the lie. And you have the students to talk about it, you know. And for math teachers, you can say the math in me or math of me. And so I would put things like math about you. You know, I'm 56 years old, so I could say I am 4 dozen plus whatever, you know, or I could say I've been married for 37 years and this is how many in months, how many in, you know, in you know, you break it down to the different math things that you have. And so I have half a dozen sisters or, you know, siblings. So that's 6. And so anyway, so you do like that about math or science of me. And so you can think things about, you know, my what is the size of your shoe? Those are science of you. Those are, that's still math really to you of you too. But anyway, so it's some of them are the math, that the length of your arms, that different ways to measure, all that. But anyway, but you can be creative like that. And we do, like, you can do conga lines. You do conga lines where you would have this little stick like there, and they have to go and do the music, the conga, but then they have to, when they get out, they have to share something about themselves to a partner. I'm telling you, there are so many different engaging activities that's fun for them, and with music. So yeah, do that, and then make them be fun. That's what they're gonna remember for the rest of the time, because the first day of school, parents always ask, so how's your new teacher? So how was your first day? And you don't want them to come home and say, oh, it's so boring. Oh, do I have to go back tomorrow? I remembered my daughter Stephanie said, she was in kindergarten. Of course, I had to brag on her. She and Jet both were already reading at 3 years old, right? So when they get to kindergarten, and these kids are just now learning their letters. And so she said, Mom, Dad, do I have to go back to kindergarten? I said, why are you asking that, Stephanie? She said, I already know everything the teacher did. Said, Stephanie, you only went for day one. Yeah, but Mom, they're just learning letters. And she was reading chapter books, the little chapter book. So I had to beg to ask the principal and the librarian, can you please put Stephanie in the first graders are in their accelerated reader, which is like a books that are in different levels, and they can read it and take a test on it. Can you put her on there? Because otherwise, when they are doing their letters and their sounds that she already knows, she's going to be bored to death. So that's what they did. So when the others are learning their letters, she was already reading in a corner there in a bean bag, and she was reading and taking a test on that. She was the only one in the whole kindergarten group, and same thing with Jet later, that was in there. That's a kindergarten student. Because otherwise you will have a kid that's very bored. They're both in the gifted field, so they were already way ahead of their peers. So yeah, you have to think about that in your classroom too. You'll have gifted students. Think about how you're gonna challenge them, not bore them to death. So I had, like, I guess in sixth grade, I was so ahead in math because I was such a math person, unliteracy, but math person, that I had, my teacher was so good. She was pregnant that year, but she made this folder one to whatever, like day one thing, and then she did it for me because I was so ahead. I would be 20 lessons ahead of the classmates. So I would be, so I will just continue. When I get done with the one, I just keep going because she already got the folder prepared for me with the lesson and all this. So I was so ahead that time that whenever she was going to have the baby, instead of them hiring a sub, they actually have me to teach the class and then the other class that she did. I'm like, that's got to be something that cannot be done in the US, because in the Philippines, they were able to get away with it. I was the one, I just went and got exempted from the whatever the class was, and then I took it as homework later. But then I was able to be the one to teach the other class because I was already ahead in the math. All the folders I've done, those are the things that the kids have to do. And it was already at the end of the year anyway. But so they could not find somebody to sub. So they said, oh, okay, Merlina's already got all this done. And she got a notebook with it. So her notes were there. So I was just using my notes to remember, okay, this particular scale or whatever. And I just I just taught it to the kids. I was so short. I was the shortest one in class. So they got me like a little chair, little chair there. I had to stand up in order for me to, write on the board. But that was a good experience for me. I think that's what made me really want to teach as well, because I had that sixth grade experience. I think I was a fifth grader. Yeah, a fifth grader when that happened. So make it fun for your students on your first year of school, first part, because that sets off the mood, the vibes, that this is going to be a fun class. And everybody's going to want to be in your class. You have some schools are very flexible in the US that students can actually move. They'll give you like a grace period, like the first 2 weeks that they could actually move to another class. And that some schools are open like that. A bunch of schools are not open like that, because then it's becoming a popularity contest. The teachers that are very popular will have all the students requesting for them, and the teachers that are supposedly not known to be fun, is boring, very traditional, nobody wants them. And so I actually experienced that when one of my colleagues was saying, Merlina, before you came, everybody wants to be in my class because she was a little better than the other one. But then when I came, everybody wants to be in my class. So she was like saying this, that, oh, I kind of took her glory from her. But I said, well, your class is just as fun as mine. I don't know what these kids are thinking, so I would say things like that, because she was really kind of a little bitter about it, like, why are they requesting you? Well, I do a lot of fun things. We cook, we do all kinds of, advertisement. They act like, they are advertising it. There where we were predicting the weather as meteorologists. We were doing role play about the books that we were reading, so they were always active in my class. They were always doing something that what it looked like in real life. And so they know that that's something that, oh, that's my sister and I did that. So she and I were always, like, I guess, requested by parents, which sometimes creates a problem, because you don't really want that. You don't want students to, because it becomes like, okay, so the ones that have a squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of type thing. So the parents, the students with parents that like to complain or want to request, those are the ones that might end up in your class. And it's not good to have that. It's almost like a cliquish thing. Like, these kids that are in will be, I don't like that at all, because I'm for the underdog. I want the ones that really need help to be in my room so I could help them, instead of like getting, the thing with that is, the smart kids, they will learn despite of you, despite of us teachers. They would learn anyway. They're very naturally, learned people, that they will learn despite the teacher, because they are very self-guided learners. So they will do that. But the ones that really need your help, like our special ed kids or our Bible kids, they're the ones that you could also show more growth with them. Because if you take them from like merely passing to like way past it, you show some growth. But if they're really high, and the growth will be little, because they're already in the ceiling, so you actually will show more growth with the lower kids. So that's the thing. Anyway, last minute question. There's not very many of us, so that's why, if there's somebody here that needs to ask a question or comment, that's why you attended. But I've not heard from you, so it's gonna be, I don't have my glasses. So Mr. Bautista or Rubio, any of you that want to talk, because I'm about to close this.
Doc, I would just like to say thank you so much.
You're
for having
welcome.
me out.
Yeah.
I have to go because the school will close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Okay.
so
Hey,
much.
keep
I'll
in
email
touch.
you, okay?
Yeah. Email or you text me. You have my number. You text
Yes,
me.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Goodbye, everyone.
I don't like phone calls unless it's an emergency.
Yes, Doc. I'll email you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. So I want to say bye-bye to everybody, since nobody else want to talk. And if you want to watch this again, it will be on Facebook and in YouTube. Mike, thanks again for being my co-host as always. And Giselle, of course, you're always helping me too. Leslie's not here today, huh? Is Leslie doing something this week, Mike? This weekend?
Yes po. I don't know if they're busy last night again.
Oh, yeah, they're over visiting. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's a Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations.
I know. Congratulations again to Merlina.
Mama Marlena, congratulations. It's Shangi here.
Oh, hey, Shangi. Oh, yeah, Shangi is the one. She's a friend of mine. That Shangi is how long have you been here, Dai?
30 years.
Yeah, so I'm here
More than 30
37 and you're 30. Yeah. Shangi is a related, or your sister-in-law with
Mary Lou.
Marilu, yeah. She's the one that shared with Marilu. So you've been listening. Yeah, it's really fun to work with teachers and so on. I invited, bring us some more folks, because we want to have folks here that have relatives, because they would have that automatic support. So they're not going to be as lonely, because you're going to visit them. They're going to visit you. So I really encourage those. Like for example, Giselle's cousins are already here. 3 of them already. I think like Leslie and Gurley will be here. And then of course Abby. And then there's the 4th one, which is your 4th and 5th one, which would be your Giselle's brother and wife in Louisiana. So there'll be 5 of them from one family. Same thing with like Christine, Christine's there, and I got her aunt and then a sister of the aunt. So there are 3 of them in that family. So we are actually getting families so that they can support each other. And like one of them had a baby. So, they have a babysitter, to help or whatever. So yeah, Shangi, so you get more folks there that, either friends or family. So if they will teach closer to each other, or in Arkansas, and you're in Arkansas, Harrison in your area, they're not going to be needing anybody. But if they do, I actually know the administrators there. So, but the thing is, they actually are mostly white folks there, right? And they don't
Yes.
have very many or any minority at all. And
No.
so, yeah, and they just have good scores too. And so the schools with good scores, they tend to have a lot of applicants, so they don't even need international teachers. But the one in the poor area where Brinkley is, Helena and all that, in the bottom of the state or in the west east side of the state near Mississippi, they are the needy folks. They really do not have many applicants. So they have to pretty much beg for applicants, and they have a lot of substitutes. So so that's why they need the international teachers. Little Rock is in the same boat. They cannot find very many applicants because they're afraid of Little Rock. You know, in most of their schools, they actually have like the metal detector. You know, so that's how serious. And so you don't see that very many in very many schools, but in the Delta area, it's very common to see schools with cameras everywhere, even in the classroom. You know,
Yes.
I know most of the ones that I'm serving, I served 5 schools last year, and most of them had cameras in their classroom. Like the superintendent and assistant, I'm a principal, will just watch them teach. So they know when I'm watching, and I'm always have a debriefing with them. I would debrief with everybody. Like in Barton, there's 3 of them. So I would debrief with everybody. So they hear what I'm saying to so-and-so. I love the way that you did this. You might want to improve this part. How do you think you'll improve this part? You know, I would say things like that, and they would hear. So everybody would learn from somebody. So there's no secret about it. It's very transparent. You know, so when they get the report, of course, I ask them permission. Is it okay to do this? But yeah, they get to see what I said to everybody. And in that way, they would learn from each other. And it's a safe thing. It's not something that you're criticizing somebody or I'm better than somebody. Should not be that way. It should be a team thing, not a competition thing, right? Yeah. All right. So that's what I have. And so thank you so much. We don't have very many, this is the least I've ever seen, because usually they're 40s and above. Yeah, Mike? 100 one time. But today, I guess because it's summer, nobody's going to want to Zoom. They want to stay. I don't blame them. All right. So I will say bye-bye. And in 2 weeks,
Bye, Doc. Bye, Doc.
today's the 10th. So 24th.
Bye,
is our
Doc.
next one.
Thank you.
August 24th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you
Thank
again
you.
for attending.
Bye.
Shangi, thank you
Bye,
for
bye,
the
bye.
recommendation.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Bye-bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Doc.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Talk